there's still a heartbeat. It's faint, but there are signs of life in the Saints' 2017 mission. The flickering hopes of playing finals were all but extinguished by the Demons, but St. Kilda could still rise like a phoenix. First, they must rebound against the Kangaroos and give themselves a big win. The Saints have everything to play for. Today, Nick Riewoldt plays in front of his home crowd for the final time.
Sets it up. Riewoldt! How perfect is that?
St. Kilda's longest-serving captain has spent more than half his career on Etihad Stadium.
Oh, that's a brilliant goal from Nick Riewoldt! Nothing but Nick!
He's played more games and kicked more goals there than any player in history.
Coming back, and he's got 9. His best ever in a stellar career.
And boy, do they need him in attack. Without Riewoldt against the Demons, the Saints butchered the ball.
Oh, he's hit the woodwork.
North Melbourne has also squandered opportunities, and Ben Brown had to make his own luck against the Hawks.
Here comes Brown. What a grab!
But the high-flying Brown gives North a real focus, and he's a star of the future.
So good for a big man.
Can North cause the boil over? Or will everyone's favourite Saint come marching in after his last home game for his beloved team?
It's been a remarkable career for Nick Riewoldt, a captain for so long. Jack Ziebel, he comes back into the Kangaroos side, the captain for the first year, missed a week. He was a late out last weekend. And Nick Riewoldt, as you've just heard, his career, it is in its waning moon. This is his first game. It was at Etihad Stadium. It was the last game for Malcolm Blight as coach. Since then, he's simply been remarkable. He doesn't have a premiership next to his name, but he's got just about everything else. And if longevity is a measurement of greatness, he absolutely ticks the box. If you read The Age this morning, great article from Timothy Bull, spoke about how he used to run in local parks to get the nerves out on game day, then the traffic got too much, and now he arrives at the ground and continues to run. It is a monster, he says, that he can't slay. It's a part of his career now. There has been something interesting on ground just moments ago. Jake Carlisle, who we expected to play on Ben Brown, he's gone down, seems to be his lower back. He then got to the hands of the trainers. They took him down the race into the rooms, and he's having some treatment now. The latest is the sides are as selected, no late changes. But Brian and Lethal, if there is a change, it will suit North Melbourne, and it will suit one man in particular, and that is Ben Brown. So, Bristol, the latest is changes, none, as named.
Well, thank you, Hamish. And, of course, they can make that final change right up until the bounce of the footy, as long as they notify the AFL on the bench. So, very interesting indeed. Now, Hamish just spoke about Nick Riewoldt there, and he's a real handful on this ground. He loves to get on the bike and long leads and covers a lot of territory. How do you handle that as a defender?
It's very hard, because if you play a smaller bloke on him who can actually keep up with him, he just takes you deep to the goal square. But if you look at Rowe here, Rowe's 6'5", who can keep up with a bloke 6'6" running that pace? And as you said, he always keeps on the ball. He'll turn around, knows where the ball's going to go. And then he's just gone on a 70, 80, 100 metres lead, going, cutting back and forth, always threatening to cut back up to the ball. So that's what he's known for. That's why he's been such a good footballer. And that's why every tall defender that's played on him has absolutely hated it. Harry Taylor once said that he covered half a marathon playing on Nick Riewoldt, and that's by cutting angles. So I'd hate to think what Nick Riewoldt will cover.
And when we're talking to Alan Richardson earlier, I mean, the fact is it has trouble coming up week in, week out. I think the knees and different parts of the ageing body, but he's had a week off. I'm surprised today he could come and do something really special. Yeah,
well, we look forward to that here in his last game at Etihad Stadium. St Kilda last week, Lee, weren't that impressive. A lot of errors, a lot of basic errors in their game, which they went down to Melbourne.
Yeah, well, they did. Melbourne got hold of them last week. Yeah, they're having trouble scoring. They're getting the ball into their forward line fairly well, but they're just not able to make that last kick count, or been a little bit inaccurate as well. So you've got to make it count, but Melbourne actually just defended the back half, as Size Hodgie seemed to do. The defence of the back half or the back 50 is something almost every team does so exceptionally well.
And missing Montagna there as well with that. I mean, he's great with his feet, Joey, and able to, one of the few players that St Kilda have got that can actually make the finishing kick as well. Now, we were asking you about a young guy in the North Melbourne lineup, and you said, what, number 44? His name is Zerha. What do you like about him?
I played on him last week, and the thing I liked the most about him was his aggression. He grabs the ball, he likes a fend off, he's very strong. Around goals, he's really smart. I watched him have a few set shots, and he actually runs in like he's a left footer, so it's a little bit awkward his set shot, but this kind of stuff on his non-preferred around the goals was something that caught my eye, something that in his third game he showed a lot, and I reckon it's something the North Melbourne team will be looking forward to seeing more of him in the future.
Had more debutants this year than any other club, North Melbourne.
Yeah, they're very young. They'll be much better with Siebel back. When you're a young team, it makes an enormous difference. You have to get one experienced player back into your team, so Siebel back will be a big plus for the Kangaroos.
Live shots coming out of the St Kilda rooms. On the other side of the rake, we'll give you more news on Jake Carlisle. Find out what's going on. North Melbourne are about to enter the arena. Can't wait for the bounce of the ball coming up shortly.
Here we go. Come on, enjoy this. Enjoy this. Go, 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 go. Hey, Scum. Scum, terrific. Terrific. Go, Sings, go. Go. Keep going, keep going. Now, that's the only one coming out. Hit that little. Watch the duck out. Watch the lead up. Excuse me, come on, man. Great kick to us. Come on, mate. How can he pull him? Hey? He's got his jumper. Oi, can't lose our pressure. Got to keep coming forward at him. Yeah, they're going to keep taking risks. They're going to keep taking risks. You know what that means? That we've got more opportunities to come forward and cut him in half. And again. We be more aggressive. Cut him in half. Play to win, play to win. Come, go! Good boy. Well done, good boy.
North Melbourne Footy Club means everything to me. They're like a family away from your family for a lot of people.
He's the kind of guy you want to be right behind when you walk out of the field.
It's obviously a great honour to be elected as captain from your peers and get put in a position of leadership through your actions in the past. And for me, that's playing football the way it's supposed to be played and trying to win. And
I think he epitomises what we all want to be in terms of football and the way we value football at the North Melbourne Footy Club.
His attack on the contest is up there with the best in the competition. And that's who you want to play with, blokes like that. He's carried and questioning it all and attacks the ball hard. And
everyone knows he just goes so hard and footy and hard and tough, he'll never take a backward step. And yeah, I love Jack as our captain and yeah, feel confident in him. So
you've given us all an opportunity as players to play for a great club, and we don't want to let them down.
So the Kangaroos being hosted by St Kilda on a Sunday afternoon, just the 5 wins this year, 4 of them in a 5-week block between round 6 and 10, just the one since against the Demons at Blundstone Arena. They'll be trying to end the Saints season this afternoon and salvage some confidence late in a year that's been light on for highs. Let's go down to Daisy Pearce. Daisy is alongside Brad Scott.
Well, Brad, I could imagine it's quite a challenging time of the year, just 2 games left in a season that probably hasn't lived up to what you would have hoped. But is it hard when so much of what you've done this year is with one eye on the future to get the boys up week to week and motivate them for this game, or is the will to develop and really compete enough?
Oh, look, I think it's a really great point. I mean, I've been concerned about it from week to week when it's a bit of an unusual feeling for us. For 5 years, we've been in the position of expecting to play finals right now, and knowing that we can't, then I've been concerned about morale. But to be honest, I haven't had to mention it to the playing group at all. Jack Siebel and his leadership group have done a fantastic job, and they know the platform we're building for the future. And we've got 2 more games to really build that platform for the future, and they're important games for us. They're games we want to win.
You mentioned Jack Siebel. It's an interesting selection. It sounds like surgery's inevitable. Is that a statement from Jack to his teammates that he wants to be out there, or is it a statement from the club who copped a bit of flack with questions about tanking, or is it just him wanting to play footy?
No, it's absolutely a statement about we want to win every game we play, and there are a lot of players in probably 17 other clubs that have players that require surgery at the end of the year that are being managed through, whether they're a chance for finals or not. And Jack's our captain, he wants to play, and he just reflects the feeling of the whole club that we want to win every game we play.
And you've had 10 debutants this year, which is I think more than you've had in the last 3 years combined. It's probably a bit like asking to pick your favourite child, but is there one in there that really excites you more than the others?
Oh no, I mean they're all exciting. I mean it's been fantastic to have a look at the 10 of them, plus Marley Williams and Nathan Rovat from other clubs. So there's 12 players that we haven't seen prior to 2017. So they've all been exciting in their own way. And to be honest, if we hadn't had a lot of injuries, we may not have seen quite a few of them. So we'll get a different look today. We'll see some different players playing in defence that haven't played there before, and our forward line will look a little bit different too. And with that comes a change to our midfield. So it's going to be a different looking side, but one that we think can get the job done.
Well, thanks for your time, Brad, and all the best today.
Great, thanks, Daisy.
Cheers.
That's the best.
Well, let's just go back to the Jake Carlisle situation, BT. This was about 10, 12 minutes ago. Jake Carlisle in the initial warm-up went down, went back to the rooms, had some treatment.
Yeah, so went into the rooms, had a little bit of treatment, and then had a little pre-warm-up there. And then he decided that that wasn't enough. So after he'd gone to the rooms, he thought, no, I need a bigger warm-up. So he's just come back out on the ground. We've been watching it live. It just has been unfolding, getting some pictures of it here now. Just him on the ground, did some extensive kicking over 40 to 45 metres to just test out the lower back there. To me, if I were having to hazard a guess, he went off without any indication after doing this little warm-up. I would say probably not, Hodgie. I just don't think he looks comfortable.
I was going to say, the only thing is he actually ran back in. So if he wasn't playing, I thought he would have walked back in. The fact that he jogged back in and jumped in there, it looks like he's going to play. When he was moving around, it was only half pace. I thought he would have been doing more testing of bending over, picking the ball up, changing direction. What he was doing, he was more kicking, jumping, marking.
That picture there indicates that he's going to play with you. Has been no alteration to the sheets as yet, Lee.
No, well, remember, St Kilda come out really late. Like most sides are going to be out 10 minutes ahead, and they do almost he's done his own little warm-up because St Kilda come out only a few minutes before the game. But it does look like he's part of the team. And
these are live shots.
Yep. Yeah, no, I think he's probably got a bit of the iffy back. You see him rubbing it, but how it's going to go through the game. But it looks like he's going to get out there to me. Otherwise, I don't think he'd be in the group at this point.
They have had one of the emergencies warming up in the background, which we can't see from that shot there, but it looks unlikely. I think Hodgie's right. I think the fact he's jogged back in, the fact that he's joined that last pitch there by the coaching staff says to me that he's going to be out there. So no question about that. Some final words there, and of course it belongs to this man here, Nick Riewoldt, today. Back into the side at the expense of White, and it's a reasonable-looking St Kilda lineup. What do you think of it, Lee?
No, it has been. It looks so much better with Nick Riewoldt back. You know that he's not going to be there in a couple of weeks, and you're never quite sure how his body's going to be on any given day. That's been really, I think, why he's decided, even not so much the age, but where the body is, means he's not confident of what's going to go happen in 2018. But on his good day, he adds to this side enormously, because I reckon Bruce and Membry and him, they're a really good little trio. But if the hard running tool's not there, then all of a sudden the movement in their forward line tends to disappear a bit.
And that's what you know what's going to have from Riewoldt. Having a week off, even though he's banged his body, he knows how to put his body through pain and finish a game off. So having a week off, whoever takes him from North Melbourne, I'd say it might be a Scotty Thompson. Good luck, he's going to have to cover a fair bit of territory.
Carlisle there. I wonder what this has done to Carlisle mentally and how he will go from here and carry it now that he still has up until the first bounce to actually make a decision to rule himself out. So it may be that he'll do another mini warm-up here. Let's have a look at the North Melbourne lineup while we wait for that to sort itself out. One change in the side. Jack Ziebell comes into the North Melbourne lineup, and Mullet goes out. They have 5 players in this side that have played in every game this year, Hodgie and Lee.
Yeah, it's very young, and the one thing you always look at, they've got 3 ruckman-sized players. Brown is a 200-centimetre forward, and they've got Goldstein and they've got Prue. So how do they actually work them into their group if they think they're part of their best 22s? A challenge for me.
And with that, Ziebell, before he got injured, the week before, I think he kicked 5 goals, the leading goal scorer. And when he did the warm-up, he warmed up with the forwards. So it's going to be a bit of a bigger-bodied forward line if they got Brown, they got Prue, and also Ziebell all playing up forward.
Back down to Daisy Pearce. Days. Initially, it looked like Jake Carlisle was not much of a chance, but right now it looks as though he's committed.
Well, he's warming up at the moment, Haim. Partook in all the regular warm-ups, but looking very proppy and has grabbed at his back a couple of times. So it's really going to be interesting to see whether he takes part.
He's largely an aerial player, but the ability to actually bend, that's going to be a problem, I suspect, to take a ball a ground level ball. That'll really test the sore back.
That's what I thought the weird thing was with the warm-up. He did no bending over, picking up with the ball.
Good work. Tails is the call. It's a tail. Good luck, guys.
Had a few tosses at that coin, but we finally got it up, and North Melbourne are kicking to the left of screen. Let's get down to, in fact, just stay with us here at the moment. Carlisle, you can see on the left of pitch, Nick Riewoldt, Jaron Geary addressing the team here. How much of this is taken in, Hodgie, by the players this late in the preparation to have a little address here from the skipper?
I think it's just reconfirming what the message has been all week. Obviously, Richardson would have had a word to him before they've come out, and then Nick Riewoldt will be in there. Just the small little things they've got to focus on. There's no point bringing in new things now before the game. They've had their main focuses leading into the game, so he'll be just making sure they're fresh in the players' minds.
All right, we're just about ready to get underway here at Etihad. Last game at Etihad for that man there. Nick Riewoldt played more games here than any other player, kicked more goals here than any other player. He is simply Etihad. Nick Riewoldt, great athlete, covers about 15 kilometres a game here. Back into this side. Interesting, though. I just wonder, Lee, whether North would be across what's happening with Carlisle. Do you think or not?
I'm sure they're across it, but they can't do anything about it, so you just tend to have to ignore it unless something changed from the team sheet, which it has not.
So Sunday afternoon football is underway, and Longer, who's been terrific for the Saints since coming in after missing the first month of footy, wins the tap, ends up with Webster. Little one to Bruce, and then Sinclair just around the corner. Chance early for the Saints. Stephen, clean pick up, work through traffic, then floats it inside. Steele couldn't quite find Dunstan. He finds his boot, though, after getting the ball from ground level, and no score.
Guys, Carlisle has started on the ground. He's lining up on Jai Simpkins. Still doesn't look to be moving very freely. I'll keep an eye on it.
So Nick Riewoldt for the final time at Etihad Stadium. Thompson, low ball out of defensive 50. Garner flew. Atley couldn't take it cleanly, ended up with Webster. He went searching, found Gibson, back to Clark. The Kangaroos through Higgins. And now McDonald doesn't often use his right boot, does on this occasion, sends it to the wing. Robertson, ball off his hands into Gilbert's, then Zeeble gets involved. Robertson, Carlisle's first touch of the afternoon.
Higgins, hold the mark now. Cunnington to muscle it forward, and Brown got out the back door, and he just loves to fully extend the arms and mark it at the furthest or highest point. On that occasion, the furthest point away from the defender. And he's a good kick. I was watching him kick from beyond 50 before. Just going to pop it to the top of the square here on this occasion. Good-looking ball, Tarrant. Probably should have claimed the mark in the end. It was almost non-contested. And Noon's happy to see the ball over the line and out of bounds.
Tarrant will be filthy of that. He was actually manned up on Sinclair, saw the ball going down. He's ran the fat side run all the way to the pocket and dropped an easy chest mark top of the goal square.
The two big men fight over the ball. No clear win in the air, but then a little chance for Durden. Tried to shovel it forward. Steele's got a couple to beat. One Cunnington, the other Garner, and Cunnington a little bit too aggressive in the end. So the Saints in the back pocket. Through Steele. A few recruits for the Saints have been terrific this year. Carlisle and Brown in their first playing seasons for the Saints after Carlisle missed last year. Neither have missed a game. Carlisle has come as close to missing today as he has all year. Ross, listen to him at halftime, has had a superb year.
If you have a look here, Nick Riewoldt, he's got Scotty Thompson to the right of him, and he's got Tarrant to the left of him. So that's one way that they've got to try and cut out Riewoldt's run. Both of them won't be able to stick with him if they're going to go head-to-head. So a bit of team defence there from the North Melbourne boys.
Chance for Zurha, not quite. Then a little shovel from Stevens. Sinclair, Ross, nice evasive work. Boundary line might get the best of Sinclair. Just pushes it forward and then taken high. Turner.
Sinclair, the offender there. Goes backwards, just buys a little bit of time and space here for Tarrant. Sort through this, just try and spread the St. Kilda defenders. Good zone setting up just in front of the footy there by the Saints. High footy on the head of Carlisle here. Gilbert from the side, off hands. Garner was in it. Cunnington let go of it. Quick handball by Geary. Went nowhere really. Now Cunnington really fast hands to Goldstein. Got rid of it in the nick of time to Turner. Turner back, conceding to Zeeble. Zeeble just wanting to get some forward ground. Good grab taken here on this occasion by Higgins. 52 metres out, wheels and goes. Didn't get enough depth on that ball. Gibson had to spoil, and now Gilbert to clear.
And Webster receives and then onto that nice-looking left boot of his, puts it in front of Membry, doesn't have to break stride. Down the line, Bruce, pushed out perhaps by Thompson. That's what the Saints fans are screaming for. Clark on the end of it, gives it to Atley. Runs away from Ross, measured kick was good. Simpkin looks inside, nothing really doing. Well, plenty doing now if you're a North Melbourne fan. He'll be marched to within about 20 metres.
There was the inside, just running through that protected zone that the kicker has to play through. I think there might be something to have a look at it this weekend. Just a couple of times there's been some 50 metres paid for encroaching on the area where players sort of tend to react to the way the umpires and how harshly they're adjudicating it, Hodgie.
And that's the thing, it's been put away for a few weeks, and then I know there was a couple put in last night's game, so obviously the umpire's been spoken to about that.
Angle not too difficult. Simple for Simpkin. They get the first of the afternoon. So just to put the afternoon into perspective, nothing really on offer this year other than pride for North Melbourne and some game time for their young players, but they can provide nuisance value. They can knock St Kilda out of the race. St Kilda have got to win both and have a few results go their way. So North Melbourne, courtesy of a 50-metre free kick to Simpkin, get the first.
Interesting today, guys, that Alan Richardson has decided to sit on the bench, Lee, and conduct from there today.
Yeah, to actually be amongst the players, get the feel of the game rather than the overview from the coach's box in the elevator position.
Adam Kingsley and Danny Sexton, his two main men, would be up in the box, calling the shots from there as well. Great that he's got confidence in those guys to be able to have a setup such as this. Short ball by Noons to the leader of Riewoldt. Nick Riewoldt launches here from half forward. A high ball, well defended by the Kangaroos. Went hard at it. Handball to McDonald. McDonald now trying to get it out of the danger zone there. Gibson. Dumont was nailed in the tackle. Ross, they came in on him quickly, had to get rid of it super quick. Little kick here. Beautiful kick by Gresham. And Gresham made something out of nothing there. Did well, didn't have a lot of time to focus on goals. And a good effort from him. So good start here for the Saints.
Gresham gets the first of the afternoon for the Saints. Just broke through the arc. Clean finish. Scores level. Hodgie, back to Alan Richardson on the bench. Do you notice it as a player? What changes?
I think the main thing is when you're on the bench and you get on the phone to talk to the coaches, you're normally talking to either a line coach, whether it's forward, mid or back, or else the head of coaches. You very rarely speak to the coach. So having a head coach down on the bench, he gets to understand what the players are feeling, but also it's a two-way communication for the players to talk directly back to the head coach.
Higgins brilliant on his left, found Goldstein. He's missed his man. Gilbert sneaks in for the Saints.
He had about half a dozen of those last week. Goldstein, and the ball bounced out of his hand. So it's good for his confidence that he's got his two hands of the ball, and they stuck.
Gilbert works it to a pack, and then Seb Ross off hands ends up with a football, but given no real opportunity.
Talking about confidence too, Gresham's done a lot of missing this year. He's about 40%.
Thank you.
Goals from shots, so to have your first shot and nail it, you'll be feeling much better about his conversion next time.
Yeah, he will indeed. There's another small forward in the name of Billings that hasn't got such a good record either. By the way, Lee, with Goldstein, you just mentioned him before, and I agree with you. Crew's playing today as well, is it? They have a half a dozen each way here, or do they need two of them, or should they just be playing the one?
Well, they haven't got another big forward, so they're going with the two ruckmen. But frankly, you don't need two ruckmen. But Bruce has looked a little dangerous at times as a big forward, which is why I've been given Goldstein majority of the game as the round-the-ground ruckman.
There's Gibson. Stoppage, funneled the ball backwards in finding Mountford. Building his career now, Mountford. 17th game, Goldstein fast hands Dumont, likewise Higgins, gave it a Swallow, under pressure though was Swallow. Ross had to put his head over the football, wasn't enough to win it on that occasion. And we'll throw it in, 60 metres out from North's goal.
BT, I think if you're talking about the ruckman there, you could play Goldstein and play him 80% of the ruck, but it's all about the development for North Melbourne in the stage they're at. If they can play Bruce 50% ruck a little bit forward, at least he's getting the pace of AFL football for the future years of him being their main ruckman.
Goldstein and Longer doing the dance together. Goldstein then becomes the rover, tried to find his man, that was Swallow, ends up with Kobe Stevens, dishes it back. So a beautiful user of the football, Higgins, just measures his kick, puts it into the run. Had Brown or Rovat. Rovat ends up front spot. Just having a look at Higgins kicking before the game got underway in the first of the warm-ups. Very rarely does he miss a target, Lethal.
Yeah, beautiful kick, whether it's a shot at goal or setting up a teammate on the move.
15 seconds gone.
You wouldn't want the ball in anyone else's hands for Higgins, particularly in this North team.
So Rovat kicked 11 for the year, hasn't kicked a goal since round 17. This to put them up by one straight kick, and he does. Kangas get their second. Hodgie, when you have a look at other players from other teams, who do you see as the better users of the football? Where does Sean Higgins sit for you?
Well, obviously, if you give him enough time and space, he's as good as anyone with the ball in hand. I think that's the main thing about the midfielders in today's game. Anyone like a Sean Higgins, you need to put as much pressure on him, because skills like that is going to hit someone. That St Kilda North are playing a 6v6 forward line, so you need to have those timings and the skill to hit him.
Started okay, the Kangaroos. They've had 6 entries, kicked a couple of goals. They've got the game ticking over nicely.
Longer. Steal the handball wide. And the result now is Membry. Goes deep in the pocket. That's going to hang in the air too long and give the defenders much too long to close in on Sinclair.
And you see Tarrant there dropping out the back. He's letting the St Kilda midfielder, a smaller midfielder like a Sinclair or a Gresham, play up the ground. He's having to sit back in the defensive 50 and stop any long balls coming in.
Bruce doing well to muscle Longer under the footy on that occasion. Little kick out of the pack. This mark will be paid. Simpkin. John Simpkin immediately sends it out the back door. Now Thompson can go here. He decides to not go laterally and got a little bit of forward movement, which was good in the direction of Mountford. Needs to pick it up clearly. Sinclair closing. Noons came at him as well and put on some funnel pressure. But a free North.
Yeah, it's interesting. It looks like North have got mainly Tarrant or Thompson spare back. Dylan Robertson becomes the spare for St Kilda, and becomes a question of which of those opponents can do better out of their position.
Longer, full stretch from the Mountford kick, couldn't control the footy. Oh, wow.
Hold there, hold.
So Zeeble looks inside 50. Saints flood back and then just a little half kick into the pocket. Big fly from Garner. Brown to around the place. The other Brown, Nathan Brown, on this occasion, beats Bren Brown to it. Then Nunes under pressure, can't get it a second time. Quickly down to you, Daisy. You've been keeping an eye on Jake Carlisle and his lower back.
He still looks a little bit proppy to me, and it's just been interesting a couple of times. St Kilda doing a bit of reshuffling to make sure he's the deepest back. And just when Richo was talking to Lee in the pre-game, he said that Nathan Brown was going to play that deep defensive role. So it'd be interesting just to keep an eye on it and see if St Kilda's maybe done some reshuffling there.
Like a rhinoceros, the way he blew that fluid out of his nose then. Boy, did that cast a spray. There's Riewoldt. On the edge of the centre square, little toe poker. Didn't come at it, Akers. Gave an opportunity here for Rovat, doing well. Dumont. Little finish wide to the big fella in Bruce, beating Longer to the footy. Bruce keeps it basic, looks for the low ball into Higgins. Going to be cut off to Robert, and you're saying that he's the loose man. They like the ball in his hands off half-back. Montagna, of course, not in the side today. They also like it in his hands. Stevens now. Little kick back inside. Bruce a long way up. Got the inside runner. Missed that with a handball, but found the kick. Good build-up happening here. Billings loved the left boot. And look at the bullet to Riewoldt. Now, there's some talk that they were going to stand up at the 12-minute mark of the first quarter, which has already gone past. So we're at the 13. So I think the St.Kilda fans forgot to stand.
Forgot to watch the clock.
Yeah.
That was the word we were getting, wasn't it?
Yes, it
Everyone
was.
up to their feet, the 12-minute mark.
Nick had the ball in the 12-minute mark, so he actually decided to chew him instead.
I think they lost interest after North kicked the first. So here's Riewoldt from beyond the 50 arc. Didn't need to get too close to the man on the mark. Good hoik of the footy. Right to the line and in the end rushed by Tarrant.
One of the things about that Carlisle situation, for a lot of the game, Goldstein or Bruce will be the second tall, so they're ruckman-sized players, so that should suit Carlisle if his mobility is just a little bit reduced.
So the 20-year-old in Ryan Clark just works it outside 50. Bruce went up early. Savage missed a footy. Garner goes searching for it. Carlisle involved there. Simpkin just back inside. No real target. Still a chance for the Saints through Steele and perhaps Webster. Zerha locks his man up. Going nowhere. Back it comes.
Dogs on the footy.
So Steele, no attempt.
Right there. Thanks, Jack. Play on.
So Cam Zerha happy to go across the face into the hands of Thompson.
Little ball here from North at halfback. The carry. Clark. Kick without great thought. Savage able to mark it. I just wonder, Lee, what would you have said to Jake Carlisle before the game, knowing he was in some doubt?
Oh, I think you say, are you right or you're not really? He's got to make the final call. Has he got the mobility, and the medical staff mostly just say yay or no these days?
Lee keeping it simple there. It's either yes or no. You can play or you can't, Hodgie.
That's his philosophy on life, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, all I'm saying is the medical staff mostly declare players fit or not.
Yeah.
Coaches don't have that much to do with the decision.
You didn't seem to take Lappin's word in the grand final.
Yeah.
You sent to test him out.
That's 15 years ago, Hodgie. That's a long time ago. It's all changed.
Missing a lung and 7 ribs. You'll be right, Nige.
Cunnington around the corner with a little low shooter. Trying to avoid the tackle there was Turner. And now Dunstan, some space. Billings has got a long left foot. He goes with a low bullet and goals. I reckon he was half giving Riewoldt a chance, but the other half was he wanted to kick the goal.
He wanted to kick the goal. A small forward running into an open goal. Maybe if that had been the last quarter, he might have popped it over to Riewoldt, but if you're within striking distance, you kick the goal.
He hasn't kicked that accurately this year, Billings. 20 goals, 32.
Yeah, it's good signs for St Kilda when a couple of their small forwards have been having plenty of shots, Gresham and Billings, but have been a bit inaccurate, but they've had one each and nailed them both.
They've been going, both of them, at less than 50% this year. Both on the scoreboard early, Billings and Gresham. Steele combined. Stephen threw it out, lost control of the footy.
It was unlucky. The ball fell out of his hands, but the umpire has adjudicated that he actually threw it rather than disposed of it correctly.
Cunnington to Turner. Rovat, Brown, Goldstein, Simpkin all deep. Zeeble in the pocket. Just sort of half hit. And then to Brown at full stretch. Brian Taylor spoke pre-game about how the long arms of Brown hard to defend against.
That was his. Carlisle was on his back, and it looked like Carlisle had the match up for that play. But when Brown went, Carlisle just trailed him by 2 or 3 metres. Either he couldn't run quick enough, or he just didn't pick up the flight quick enough.
I think that's a timing with North Melbourne mids and Brown. They know where to put it, and all you do is just put it in the air in front of him, because he's that tall, he's that athletic, that he can run and jump at the ball and get it at the highest point.
When he jumps from the front position, his hands are a long way up.
There's no chance of spoiling.
Yeah.
So Brown's got 54 for the year, same as the next 3 on North's list combined. 54, that is gun barrel straight. 55 for the year. Kanga's back in front. Lee, again, we were looking at the players' warm-up pre-game. I've never seen a player walk in a more straight line into the middle of the goals and nothing deviates.
Now, it's a long run up, but it's all straight, isn't it, really? I don't know why he feels he needs that length to get himself balanced and comfortable, but it certainly works for him, so you wouldn't be changing. He's just an unusual shape full foot, like a bit like Paul Salmon back from a couple of generations ago. The 200 centimetre, but still agile.
As you see the kick here, they just put it into a nice spot for Brown to get a run and jump. That's why they got Petrie to retire, just so he could take the full spot of the North Melbourne full forward area and just take control of the forward line. As you can see, he's a beautiful kick, beautiful mark. It was a nice finish by Brown.
Yeah, just a star in the making. Ben Brown, no question. Pretty obvious thing to say. Ross got met solidly and high. No free. Jumping out the back door is Webster. Launching, and Tarrant will drop back on this. Couldn't hold the mark. Now Billings to Stevens. Even wider to Gresham. Gresham from 40. Inside slider has missed. Just the minor score, so they're Smalls peppering for the Saints at the moment.
Just looking at Ben Brown's tally of 55 now, third most by any North player this century, which is extraordinary. Carey kicked 62 in 2000. Petrie 57 in 2012. You'd think Brown would get Petrie this year. So 55 so far for Brown. Little one through a couple of legs by Simpkin, and then back to Garner, back to Higgins. Happy to take the game on. Gresham stole the football, works it inside. Absolutely perfect. Hits the chest of Akers. So now about the finish. Akers doesn't look confident. Darts his eyes inside.
Right here.
Covered inside well, North here. He doesn't want to have the angled shot if there's something better on, but
15 gone.
North look like they've got all his options covered.
Speaking of accurate, Blake Akers, 10 goals, 3. This very tricky. Well, for some. So 11-3 for the year for Blake Akers. Looked inside and then just settled down and got on with the job. Saints back in front. Goal scorers, Gresham, Billings and Akers.
It's the turnover, isn't it? When Higgins just worked his way into pressure and the ball went clear to Gresham, all of a sudden the defence is completely out of position and the forwards now have got a chance to run into space.
Good kick. It's always going to turn a little left to right in its finish here for some reason. And he absolutely nailed that, Blake Akers. By the way, of the 6 goals kicked collectively so far, it has been goal for goal. Not sure whether you want me to go through them all in order, but it has. It has been a fest here at the moment. Swallow, what a magnificent palm down to him. Now Brown the finish. Just a little bit too much length on the kick. Nathan Brown was in a good position to finish. Gilbert supplied the tackle on Taylor Garner. Ball bounces out. Cunnington with the fend off and gather at the same time. And the left foot snap. And the goal for goals continue. And Goldstein with an issue in the middle as well, will come straight from the ground. Cracking game of high-scoring footy we've got going here at the moment.
Simpkin, Gresham, Robat, Billings, Brown, Akers, Cunnington, 4 lead changes. We played just on 21 minutes of football.
Poke in the eye, I think, here, maybe on the way down there from Longer.
Yeah, looks like it, doesn't it?
It can be a touch uncoordinated at time, the big men. Is that okay to say that, huh?
Well, probably. Longer beautifully coordinated there and ends up the Ross driving the ball forward. Akers has got one, won't get a second here. Thompson spirals the ball to the outer side. Chance for Savage. Beautiful kick of the football, wants his right, gets hold of it in the end. And Longer low by hand, got a run in Gilbert, gets around Robert and then works the ball inside into the pocket. Bruce goes, Thompson holds his ground. Akers beaten by the boundary line. So 7 individual goal scorers, 4 goals to 3. Simpkin, Robat, Brown and Cunnington, Gresham, Billings and Akers. 4 lead changes. Bruce and Longer.
Push out, Billy Longer. If you're setting up too far back, I told you where it was going to land. You can't push him out.
This debate's been going all year, Hodgie. Is it the boundary umpire that doesn't throw it far enough in, or is it the players getting too far back?
Well, the players do come a long way back, but that looked like it was a good old ruck contest where he was just a little bit too strong. Bruce is a big boy, obviously a lot bigger than Billy Longer, but I didn't see there was much wrong with that.
Only kicked one for the year. That was against the Tigers on that brilliant Saturday night.
Yes, we often think that in ruck contests, the stronger ruckman gets penalised because he's been too strong. And, yes, I guess the adjudication is he hasn't allowed Longer to jump at the contest. But
I think generally speaking this year, I've seen a lot of footy, and I've seen the boundary umpires, I think, not get it in the 18 metres that they told us they would at the start of the year.
Yeah.
They've tried all these sling actions and haven't quite nailed it. Ruckman have been caught out of position, generally speaking. Mountford, little nursed kick over the top to Simpkin, could have kept going.
Free kick to Ben Brown here, holding off the ball.
Umpire Brent Wallace was right there, and Ben Brown very deliberate about it.
You don't want to give away free kicks, but really the price, I reckon, playing with Brent Brown is you've got to just test the umpire a little bit and make sure you're maintaining boundary contact, because we've seen that's just the little hole.
As you see there, Brown was really good calling effort to run into that space, and as he's hit the kick, he's gone to run round, and just Nathan Brown grabbed him with both arms, clear hold the man.
There's the massive run up from Brown, looking for his second goal here. Kick of only 30 metres in the end, and he's kicked it left.
That's the hardest thing about playing on a Ben Brown, is you don't want him to get behind you, because if he gets behind you, gets a run and jump with the ball, we can see what he can do. So that's where he puts a bit of fear into the defenders.
Goes back so far, Hodge, he almost needs to bounce on his way in. So a man who the Saints have got to admire and love so much for the last time at Etihad Stadium finds himself deep in defence and un-Riewoldt-esque.
St Kilda's best here is when they've been able to play really quick footy, play the ball on and run. At the moment, both teams are playing just a little bit, kick, short, stop, start.
Brown again crashes the pack. Whose boot was that off?
Well, I love the way he attacks the ball in the air, Brent. He really does. Every part of him is right going at the footy in the air.
Off a hand. So Bruce, one of the 10 debutants for the Kangaroos this year. This time Longer and he have another wrestle. This time the whistle remains out of the mouth of the umpire. Lovely little lateral movement from Robert, and then onto his left boot, Riewoldt, as he's been doing all through his career. Reads the flight beautifully, outmarks his man, and then just lets the Saints roll on. Gresham to Akers, both goal scorers in this opening term. Gresham, big run down. Mountford was determined, got him in the end. Then Zurhaar gets involved from a Kangaroo standpoint.
Gee, the kick from Robert on at half-back to spot Riewoldt then was just fantastic. Run down in the end was Gresham.
I think Riewoldt knew where their aim was, because Riewoldt put his hand up and just stood there, didn't lead for him. So their direct rule, I think, coming out of the defensive 50 for St Kilda is kick it towards the boundary line.
Yeah, you're right. Looked very deliberate. Dunstan off to Savage, onto Akers. He did well, Akers, to feed back in a composed manner to Carlisle. There's the skipper. Looking to give it off, and now the lead is forthcoming from Bruce. Got the hands on it, and although Nielsen's able to push him out to the 50-metre mark, Josh Bruce should just about have the wheels from here.
This is very hard to spoil from behind, chop arms, etc. This is the ability of players to run hard and then just launch themselves upwards from the front position. The sort of confidence that it's so hard for the defender behind to execute a legal spoil.
Going to have to get as close as he can to the mark here, Bruce, just to give himself every opportunity of going the distance. 55 out, and perhaps trying to overkick it, knowing that he needed to absolutely nail it.
Been a little quieter, Josh Bruce, in front of goals this year. Kicked 50 in 2015. 32 coming into this afternoon. Big flyer, no take in the end. Bruce was a part of it all again. Gilbert tries to strip the ball from Brown.
Someone looks like they've hurt themselves.
Dan Nielsen there.
So Nielsen, yeah.
Take your time, guys.
Good old knee to the back of the scone.
Generally does it, doesn't it?
Nice run and jump from Bruce, just protecting himself, but that's an unfortunate thing. Coming back with the flight of the ball, you got your back open, and it's either knee to the back of the ribs, or unfortunately that time he's got him in the back of the head.
So the umpire just telling the medicos when they arrive there, take your time, boys. Get your decision right. That was the little accidental clash with the knee, and you look at the incident of Toby Green a few weeks ago. I know it wasn't a kick, it was a handball, but it shows you that you can, certainly in a marking contest, do whatever you like as long as you've got eyes on the footy. So this has been ruled a knockout here because they've called for the stretcher. So this is not good news for Nielsen.
Just said he tried to get up there and the doctors held him down and said, just stay still, mate.
It was interesting in that debate about accidental in other parts of the game, in the fact that because we want players, the game wants players jumping at the footy. It means if you're jumping high at the footy and, for instance, that happened, knee makes contact with another player's head, that's something you just got to live with in a way. That is complete accident. No duty of care from a player flying for a mark to keep his legs to himself.
And
so those voices you can hear, that's just the umpires communicating to each other.
I was going to say, that's the fear of in today's game, is standing underneath the ball and you're just hoping that your teammates can put a body on someone the opposition person who can't run and jump, because as you can see, he's going for the ball, he's got his back to him, and that's where you need a bit of reliance on your teammates just to sort of help you out there and put a body on the opposition player.
Can this be advantageous? I know no side's got a break in this game at the moment, but as a skipper, this is almost like a good time out for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a time that you can sit back and regroup. As you see, North Melbourne are sitting down there talking. St Kilda have already had their chat, looking to go into their positions. But if things aren't, both teams are playing some okay footy. Both teams have had run-ons at times, but you'll be just sit back, regrouping, I guess, talking about what's going well for your team and what areas you need to improve on if you're going sticking to the plan that the coach has set before the game. So it's a good time just to reset and re-chat about it.
So this is Daniel Nielsen, just in his 7th game of footy, that's had the issue with an accidental knee to the back of the head in a marking attempt. That's Brent Wallace, the umpire. You can see there, number 33, the son of Terry Wallace, of course, the former coach and champion player.
And as we know, they take care, put the neck brace on, do all the stabilisation before they try to load them.
I often wonder when I'm watching other sports with this, rugby and league as well, that they don't seem to take the precaution that our doctors take in our game. And it's I've got to say, if I was a footballer today, I'd be feeling very comfortable.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why you can sort of see all the players are patient, all the supporters around there are waiting because they know how important this is. He's obviously got the clear knock in the back of the head, and anything that the medical staff think they need to do to make sure they get him off nice and safe and can assess him in the rooms, they're going to take as much time as they need to.
The other concerning thing for the Kangaroos, boys, is that Todd Goldstein came off at the 21-minute mark down to the rooms with an accidental knock to the eye or a scratch to his left eye and hasn't reappeared. So they could be 2 men down here for the remainder of this match.
Started quite well, Goldstein, too. I mean, he really has been struggling, but I thought he had a really good first 10 or 15 minutes in the ruck. They gave him the chance to start early. Bruce is now filling in the ruck spot. But I thought Goldstein, he looked much better today than I'd seen him play for most of the season.
5 touches today, and had 4 for the whole of last weekend.
Yeah.
Well, he's just looking on there. Jack Steele, a concerned look. Robbie Tarrant and Nick Riewoldt. Couple of games to go in his career. Gibson there, who just in the foreground. That Gibson. Hodgie, this is just an incredible story. I know I say it just about every week, but this is a guy that hasn't missed a game since he debuted. He's played 129 straight games since debut.
Yeah, he was always very durable when he was down at Box Hill. He works his backside off. He was up and down. He always wins the time trial down at North Melbourne. He did that at Box Hill as well. But to play that many games, especially in today's day and age, with the physical attributes you need and how hard you got to work your body.
Great to see such great attention given to Dan Nielsen. Just back to Sam Gibson. So 129 in a row since debut. John Murphy, Mark's father, 158. And the clubhouse leader, Jared Crouch, with 194 for the Swans.
Almost 10 seasons.
There's Goldstein, bottom right. Just getting a little bit more attention on the eye days. I don't know whether you can see him from where you are down there, but At least he's back on the bench now, some sort of chance to play.
Back on the bench and no tracksuit, so it looks like he wants to get back out there, still being treated by the doctor at times and holding the swab to the eye, so hopefully he gets back out there.
Interesting murmurings going on in the crowd at the moment. You can almost hear it in the background. I don't think it's so much the concern for Nielsen, because I think a lot of this is just the doctors being very conservative in their approach because they don't know what the possible injuries could be. So I think this will end up being as normal a concussion as you can possibly get, but it's just them making sure they do it in a conservative manner. So
he just gave the thumbs up.
Yeah, people at the ground shouldn't be concerned.
As Luke Hodge said, he did try and move and get back up, and the medicos said, just take your time. Yep, we'll look after you.
Just interesting throughout that extended break as well. Jake Carlisle doing a lot of work on his own back, just rubbing it constantly, and hasn't come off the ground yet. So you just think that it's something that he wants to keep moving.
The other thing too is, so there's a doctor and a physio with him there, and that North Melbourne doctor there won't be out of action for very long, because what they do is each team's got 2 doctors and a physio, is that there is an allocated doctor that's a neutral doctor that can then go down and take care of the player as well, so that both doctors for each club can come back out and be involved in the game. It's a new acquisition, I think just this year or last year. So we're back underway here now. Dunstan, only a couple of minutes in it, and Bruce down low. 2 minutes remaining in the quarter.
Great to see the thumbs up from Dan Nielsen just before he went down the race.
So Bruce, and you mentioned his goals this year, 32 of them, 33 coming up. They've had a bit of a spread though when you look at players like Membry, and Billings has kicked 20, and Riewoldt 26, and Gresham 22. So just a little bit better spread for the Saints. Very nice. The goal-for-goal shootout continues.
8 goals. First went to Simpkin. Saints responded, then Rovat. Saints responded. Brown, Ben. Saints responded. Cunnington. Now Josh Bruce responds. So 8 goals, 2-point lead to the Saints.
Yeah, scoreboard's equal. Almost every other part of the game is equal as well.
Nice shot there by Bruce. That's where St Kilda have really struggled this year. They're going at 54% from set shots. They're the 3rd worst in the AFL.
So 5th lead change for the first term. 8 goals down. Gibson had the footy, lost a chance for Higgins to weave through traffic, gave it off to McDonald, again uses his right boot, tumbles the ball to half forward. Savage and Garner go for the same footy. In the end, a foot race, and Garner might get there first, tries to paddle it on, runs out of room in the end. Well, somehow keeps it in. Saints fans don't agree. Gibson ends up with the footy, 40 out directly in front. So Dan Nelson has got plenty of help and assistance. We'll keep you updated on Dan throughout the afternoon. Meanwhile, Gibson tries to respond to the Bruce goal. Kick the Kangas 5th. 30 seconds before quarter time. Gibson straight through the middle. Kangaroos back in front. So this term now just ticking over 37 minutes. Long break as the medicos looked after Dan Nielsen. 9 goals. Gibson, he gets his first.
Good effort, Garner. Keep the ball in play whenever you can. He looked like, geez, I don't know. Well, the boundary umpire was there, but he actually gave the benefit of the doubt.
I wouldn't mind to say a little bit of a replay. That looked like when he got bumped from the second St Kilda player, the ball may have come over by about a good foot.
Saints fans certainly agree with you.
So Bruce ready to go. 26 seconds remaining in the quarter. Margetts to let it rip. A chance for the Roos. An extraction by Higgins that was very efficient. Garner to Brown, and Brown the classic lead. Good, crisp, fluent play by the Kangas.
It's interesting to see what's going on. I mean, he conceded the front position, Brown, but That just allowed the Nathan Brown conceded front position to Ben Brown, and he just ran into the mark easily.
Looking for his 56th goal of the year. Siren sounds, and even when he didn't have the pressure on the back, he's still marking the ball at full extension. You got to love it. Ben Brown looking for goal number 2 and goal number 56 for the year. After the quarter-time siren, it's got a bend. It's a poster. North, quarter-time. What a quarter. 38 minutes in it, and there's a bit of a scuffle going on here as well. Bit of fisticuffs in there. Players converging. Carlisle in the middle of this, and a little bit of a slap here and a slap there. Longer, and Thompson's been dragged out of it. Umpires galore. Players just starting to settle, and some good advice from the umpire there. And this is what started it. Jakey Carlisle, and on report, I think he said. So Carlisle may be on report. We've seen those sort of things already this year. And then they wanted to go on with it. Not much in it. North Melbourne here at quarter time by 5 points.
Well, Brian Taylor always gets excited when there's a melee. Jake Carlisle, Luke McDonald. This is how it started. And then everyone got involved. Umpires said, save your money, walk to the huddles. Took a while to settle down. North Melbourne 5-2, St Kilda 4-3. And Daisy, we are told that Jake Carlisle's been reported twice.
Yes, Haim, I think one player who will be getting his wallet out will be Jake Carlisle at the least, because he's been reported on 2 separate occasions, 2 striking charges. We've had confirmation from the umpires on that one, so plenty happening for him. We know he was a bit proppy in the warm-up, went down for treatment on his back, and has been looking to be not moving very freely, so plenty happening for him in this game now on report for 2 separate incidences.
I'd hate to think it would be those 2 against McDonald for those 2 pushes in the chest, because they looked like shoves. When you got 5 blokes coming at you, surely you're allowed to protect yourself and push them away.
Trouble is, you never know, Hodgie.
You don't.
You just don't know what's going to happen. Back in the middle we go. We just saw the eye of Todd Goldstein then, who, in amongst all of that, got the poke in the eye and was off the ground for some period of time. There it is.
Yeah, that really aggressive straight arm push and the strike. It's because of similar action, hard to differentiate.
Ball in the Riewoldt direction, overrunning it. Membry shovels to Ross.
Ross advances the ball in the Bruce direction. Had the front position and got it free.
St.Kilda. Arm throughout the round, converting him from leading. It's a hold. Yeah.
There you go. There's the explanation from the umpire.
Don't hold.
You've just got to believe it.
Hold on. Yes.
Yeah, absolute 50-50, that, isn't it? There'll be plenty of similar incidents where there won't be free kick, but umpire decided that one was.
Very gettable here for Josh Bruce to keep the run of goal for goals going. Bruce from about 25 metres out, no problems at all. No, there is a problem.
All clear.
So that's what I spoke about in the first quarter, about their accuracy in front of goal. From set shots, they're running at 54% leading into the game. This is what's cost them a few games this year. It's the 3rd worst in the AFL, and if you're going to get a nice ball inside, take a good mark like that, you need to go back and convert your opportunities.
So Clark in short. Just saw Nick Riewoldt. They didn't hit him with the football. He said in the paper this morning, if they don't put it exactly where I want it, I'm like a tram. I can't move like I used to. Went straight past. Goldstein, halfback for North Melbourne. His eye looks okay. It's the right eye we're concerned about at quarter time. Ball bounces for the former skipper. Zeeble just knocks it down. Easily picked off by Robertson. Bruce will handle over the top, finds Stephen. Got a runner. This time Dunstan. Lovely kick over the top. Full stretch. Billings. Little throw in the end to Stephen. Almost runs out of options. Back he goes. Seb Ross, shimmy. Low ball into the pocket. Doesn't find his man. Wanted steal. Cunnington cuts it off.
High down the line. Longer and Goldstein. Robertson, the 3rd man up in that contest. Higgins. Robertson again. Fast hands cut off by McDonald. Gee, somehow he kept it alive. Gee, I think that's the same boundary umpire as the other one there, as Simpkin ran into a bit of a brick wall but was able to evade and did it nicely as well. Kick in the middle to Gibson. Gibson will want to go wide and continue the nice A little run here for the Kangaroos. Good running support, and Turner. Over the top he goes. St Kilda eventually got time through Webster to close in. Now Atley. Tested Membry on that occasion and just conceded backwards.
In Durden through the middle he goes. McDonald. Little one over the top. Tarrant controls the footy, measures the kick, puts it into the flight path of Rovat. Already got one for the afternoon. Quickly over the top, dishes off. Good hands, but really tricky spot for Higgins.
A lot of probing around the 50-metre arc before they finally went in, but they did find the target, so the patience paid off.
Time's off, you got to go 1 metre. Sean, time's off, you got to go 1 metre.
So out of options, Higgins, and might just have to work onto the left boot. Beautiful off both sides. A little short ball.
Thanks, Cameron. Blue dot. 1 metre. Thank you. Thanks, Nate. Just holding that blue dot, mate. Blue dot.
12 touches for Higgins, more than anyone else on the ground.
Play on. You.
Robin tries to be precise, and he was. Gilbert. Funny little push kick almost. Riewoldt down the line, and he's second out of bounds on the full today.
Back a metre.
He's wondering what's going on. Now Goldstein. Clark. McDonald. High footy. Here comes Brown. Won't get there to that contest, and good grab by Geary.
Quickly by hand to Stephen, who's covered some miles already this afternoon. Carlisle, who's big part of the scuffle at quarter time. Swallow couldn't find his man. Webster mops up, back to Stephen. He goes low, realises he's not going to find his man, tries to clean things up, did a good job. Prevented Goldstein from moving the footy on. Kangas by 5 points. 6 lead changes already this afternoon. 9 goals. Both sides have traded blows. Swallow found McDonald. He found trouble. Stephen again. This time measures his kick. Doesn't miss his man. Gresham on the outer side logo. Got a bit of support. Sebros runs with him. Lovely low ball. Membry front spot. Second and third grab. Knocked into the runner. Bruce. Bruce on the left boot. Bruce scores. Saints back in front. Bruce gets his second, and Saints get the lead. 5-4, 5-3. Simple equation, Brian, is Saints need to win. All the Roos can do is help shape the 8 from here on in.
Well, that's right. I mean, the Saints are a very slim chance.
Braden in, thank you.
It makes a difference if you can go in quickly into the forward line. There's no defensive structure in place. It's fairly much one-on-one.
And that's
those
the difference.
Turnovers, yeah.
That's the difference where the two teams are playing. St Kilda got the extra at the stoppage, and they're leading the stoppages 14-8. North are playing a bit safer and playing their sparing Tarrant or Scotty Thompson a bit deeper off the back.
7 lead changes in amongst the 10
back,
goals.
Keep that metre. Braden, keep the metre, mate.
Beautiful down the ground shot of the players lining up in the spine. No one wide, all in the corridor. Now Noons, penetrating footy, real penetrating. Gee, he had to go back and did it bravely, Tarrant. It was in the air a long time. Well done to him, Turner. Clark combining here with Mountford, and back in the hands of Turner. Now Dumont, little handball to Swallow as well. Back they go. Mountford, penetrating run with a bounce in the middle of it. Good ball to Zeeble. Strong play, North Melbourne.
Well, they took it on, didn't they? That was good. Got rewarded for taking it on.
And that's what sets up North's ball movement, is they had Tarrant backing back, as you see there. Big, would have been good for Durden to stop and give him a little bit of support, but that extra number back there gets their running game going. North love linking up through the midfield just so they can use their pace through the middle and either hit Brown. This time it was... Sorry, Zeeble. This time it was Zeeble instead of Brown, but that's the way they want to move the ball.
For the 8th lead change of the game. No problems. Siebel gets the second goal of the quarter. And certainly when a team gets an opportunity to go corridor bound here, they are going swiftly, methodically and cleanly.
You don't see very often where a team can string together. They must have had 8 or maybe even 10 handballs that each one of them was under pressure, but each one of them found its target. And then Mountford was able to be the kicker through the middle of the ground. Durden, I should say.
This is what you see, the run through the middle. They like to link up. See Mountford got pace, long kick over the top of Brown and hit Siebel on a backward lead.
Longer went searching. Demont got in the road. Stephen ended up with the football. Fired it to Steele. He got tackled.
Dangerous tackle, St Kilda.
Quickly, Daisy, just back to Jake Carlisle. Reported twice. You know what for now?
Yeah, both incidents for striking Haim. One was against Declan Mountford and the other Luke McDonald, all in that quarter-time scuffle.
Thanks, Dave. So dangerous tackle on Jack Steele. There's a couple to choose from. Longer gives Kobe Stevens some support and then thumps the ball towards the square. Membry couldn't take it. Plenty of Kangaroos at the fall of the ball. Clark managed it well, just got taken over the line rather than taking over himself.
So Hodgie, confused. Dangerous tackle on Steele, gets his head rubbed into the ground. Because he gets up and he's a tough customer and there's no apparent injury, it's all okay.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to the result of the player and if they're injured or not. And unfortunately, it's how hard they hit the ground and how bad the tackle looks.
And everyone has a different tolerance for that sort of thing as well. Here's Puss over the top there. Bit of a battle to win it out in the end, and it was Zerha in the end. Brown there, flicked it up off his heel. Akers. Nathan Brown now to Gilbert. Fast hands Roberton. Gee, they're so good, the modern player, within tight handball like that, not panicking. Great decisions made there. Now an opportunity to finish here. Picked up here by Gresham. Little left footer. Drawing Riewoldt. Got both hands on it. Couldn't reel it in. Tarrant under immediate pressure now. Sinclair applying pressure on Gibson. Attlee trying to waltz through the middle of them. Cunnington, as easy as you like. Handball, big line up here. Well contested in the end from both players. Turner going hard at the footy. Gilbert as well. Stevens throws his body. And both clubs absolutely committed to win the footy.
This is that tackle. When the arms are pinned, but the head didn't hit the ground firmly, so
that's
the difference.
Yeah, that's what the umpires tell the players. If they've got their arms pinned and you've got a second motion to wrap them over, that's going to look like so they want to protect the bloke who's getting tackled.
Ugly sort of a ball in the end, in the Billings direction. Took it off the ground, gave it off to Seb Ross, and then he went searching. Kobe Stevens set some sort of a task. Geary wanted Ross again. Higgins got involved. Gilbert dropped the football. McDonald picks it up. Misses his man. Kobe Stevens again. Ricochets to Gilbert. Goes wide to Ross. Just held up a little. Geary on the left boot. Works it to half forward. Back with the flight. Akers kicked a beautiful goal in the first term. Cunnington crashes through. Gets a bit of territory. Still no clean win. Sinclair had it. Lost it. Attlee over the top. Almost finds his man. Still hard to win. Turner in the end gives it off to Gibson. Ends up with Clark.
Wheels and goes. Kick's got to be good. Over the head there of Simpkin. Perhaps should have taken that mark now on the counter. On the rebound attack. What can they conjure up out of this? The Saints, they go for that cut-off kick up the corridor. Beautiful it was to Billings. Billings thought about the left boot. Now to Membry. Nothing long, so he has to peel it back. Riewoldt couldn't take it at full stretch. Carlisle around the corner, and I don't think Gresham will get there. Possibly a push on Riewoldt. But coming at full flight was a difficult one to take.
It's a great kick there by Webster just to open the play up. It's been a fantastic game so far, just the pressure of both teams. There've been a few mistakes, but that's come from the pressure of both teams with the tackles, the competitive in and under style of both sides.
11 goals for the afternoon. No side has kicked consecutive goals. Off the back of Longer, skips back into play. Demont, hard ridden by Weller.
Almost a typical Etihad game, isn't it? Fairly low tackling, fairly free-flowing. You're not having packs after pack. Once the ball leaves the area, it just tends to keep in motion.
Umpire slings it back into play. Bruce had a fair bit of Longer's jumper. Umpire let it roll. Dunson went without the football. Gresham, quick kick. Thompson, sweeping, makes a bit of a meal of it. If you've just joined us, Daniel Nielsen out for the game, taken off on a stretcher. Long time to get him right. We'll keep you updated when we hear anything from the North Melbourne rooms.
Yeah, he'll be being closely monitored at the moment.
Holding the man, Jack Stephen. Jack Stephen being held.
So you heard Chris Cameron's the umpire. Jack with a bit of a zing in his step, walks back.
You always got a zing in your step when you got the free kick about 20 metres out, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's the worry about Jack Stephen around stoppages. He's that dominant in and under. He's had 7 contested possession. This is his 16th disposal. You just got to make sure you're pushing, directing where you want to get him without holding.
Here he is. The boy from the Great Ocean Road just didn't get through that one at all. Made a bit of a mess of it.
He's had 4 clearances to 8. It's 18 clearances St Kilda's way to North Melbourne's 8. So that part of the game St Kilda have been good at, but they've been rebounding them well, North Melbourne, off that first kick.
And that's the thing with their clearances. As you said, North Melbourne have had 8, but they've scored 4 times from their 8 clearances, where after the 18 clearances from St Kilda, they've only had 2 goals. So they just haven't been able to capitalise on their clearances.
Been horribly inaccurate this year. Jack Stephen came in with 6-14 next to his name for the year and misses what is, well, he would consider very gettable and really should have been kicked. Savage bullets the ball but finds the chest of McDonald, tries to take on Riewoldt. Speed early, then pauses, goes back inside, and Goldstein now looks over the top to Cunnington. He flies strong hands against Dunstan. Quick thinking, gives it off to Atley. A bounce and then inside forward 50. Easy enough for Carlisle. Man under stress before the game and in the melee at quarter time to Weller. Long ball to a one-on-one. Akers, Durden, Akers, Durden, Akers had it, lost it. Durden should mop up. Little one inside, did well. Atley provides support, runs out of room, dangerous ball now. Sinclair gives, Dunstan should finish. Oh, no! Touched ball.
Ball. I believe it's a behind. Can we please check the ball came off above the knee?
Score review. Umpire's call is a behind. Just confirm it wasn't below or above the knee. Review underway. Yeah.
Just the fumble looked like it come off. Yeah.
He's spot on.
Good call.
Looks like that.
Off Terrence left knee.
Below Terrence knee.
But prior to that, I mean, that's the goal review.
Review completed. Decision on scoreboard.
All clear.
But it was a goal gone begging, wasn't it?
It was.
St Kilda just had an open goal to finish and missed it.
Zeeble. McDonald gained some valuable metres. Push off, fend off by Cunnington, impressive. Zeeble now. Carlisle will mark this. And can they launch and go quickly here? Carlisle decides to just steady the ship and go wide to Mav Weller. He bullets one in the direction of Billings to Savage. They love the ball in his hands as well. Gee, that's a good example of why. And now Dunstan. Robertson on the run for the 50-metre kick. He's got Weller wide. And gee, there's 2 North Melbourne players within 3.5 metres there. Both got opponents, I guess.
He looked like he wanted to lay it off for someone. Not sure whether he thinks he's got the distance, but no choice now.
I don't think he's got huge penetration in his kick. 50 metres out, and he's just mopped it off out to the left-hand side.
Scott, start behind, please.
Tarrant decides to go for a new footy out of the bag.
So the margin has been under a goal for the last 40 minutes. Long ball for Brown to run onto. In Brown. Brown turns quickest. Then the ball just sort of bobbles about the place, beats most, including Brown. Then Nathan Brown gives it off to Nunes. His little kick just touched by Gibson, cleanly taken by Dunstan. Off it goes to Steele. He's going nowhere. Two Roos drops a footy. Little kick forward from Dunstan in the square. Chance off the ground. Tarrant's got to be clever. Happy just to slap it over around the goalpost.
Still plenty of time in the half remaining here. It does feel like it's late in the quarter, but there's 8 minutes remaining in it. So got to keep concentrating. Geary set sail, couldn't hold on in the end. Underneath all that, Zaha. Carnington took Sinclair on, and Sinclair did well to make the tackle stick with the assistance of his skipper. There's the launch from Geary.
It's a very even contest so far. St Kilda are a little bit ahead on stats. They're a little bit ahead on clearances, but all the other play, you look around, inside 50s are close, contested possessions are close. It's been a good old battle.
Well, I guess the scores are level, Hodgie, so it's reasonably close.
Sometimes the score doesn't reflect the game, BT.
Okay.
In this stage, it does. It's been a good battle.
Interesting hairdo there from Gilbert across the front. He's got the sort of hairband made of hair. Very...
Woodstock.
Strange. It's Riewoldt. Might get a look at it now. We're right on the bench here.
It's interesting, Alan Richardson coaching from the bench. One of the things I think, what would you call that one?
Well, that's a ponytail from right to left across forward.
What it is.
That's a get a haircut.
That's got to have sticky tape, surely.
8 lead changes, biggest margin of the match. 6 points. Both sides have had a 6-point lead, but 43 minutes, it's been under a goal. Dunstan, little give inside. Weller opens up the angle, crashes it through. Saints lead by 6 points.
I was about to mention Alan Richardson coaching from the bench. One of the things occasionally when you were down the bench, when you're used to watching it from the coach's box with the elevated view, it's hard to know what's going on. If you're used to watching footy from ground level, it's a normal look, but I don't know whether Alan Richardson would have a great view of the big picture.
And if you look here, the composure from Sed Ross, rather than bombing it long to where North normally has the spare, just a chip, nice little handball from Dunstan over to Weller for a goal. But Sed Ross, he's had 14 touches today. His second for metres gained for St Kilda has had a really good impact on the game.
Yeah, he's been very impressive. 9th lead changed the game there, still goal for goal. Incredible, considering we've kicked 12 of them. Taylor Garner here, just out of his range. Pops it into space now. Here comes Brown on the lead. Stretching, good effort by him. Noons to Webster. They can launch the Saints. They've got Robert and Luce on the inside as well. G is a little indecisive, got it to Dunstan. Now they can square it away. Bruce goes a long ball, looking for Membry. Went up with the two-legged jump there. Did well. Did really well, Durden, to hold him up. The numbers were against him, and in the end, the Roos are going to win this out the back door with Gibson.
And he just hoiks it around the corner. Big fly, nothing really doing in the air though. Ground level, Nunes left it behind. Zerhard tried to just kick it in the direction of a teammate. Dunstan ends up with the football. Swallow just has it knocked away by Nathan Brown. Dunstan shovels it to Savage, and then a man who can kick a ball a long way takes a bit of heat off it. Stevens, Nunes, low ball off the inside of the boot. Doesn't really work out, but Weller, he makes it work. Long ball around the corner, Membry, Durden, and an easy corral for McDonald. Happy just to see it over. Biggest lead of the afternoon now, 7 points to the Saints.
Sounds crazy, doesn't it?
Yep.
Guys, play on, you're off, play on.
Sure why you're calling it play on. There. Sometimes, Hodgie, it's a line ball as to whether you've faked to play on or whether you've actually gone off the line, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like the umpire's looking for if they take that one step. A lot of the time players do it just to try and have a bit of diversion, to try and get around the player.
Hey, Kerrs! Dust on the line.
I thought Nick could have done a little bit more to try and put a bit of body contact and shepherd the ball through there, but I think he thought it was floating through, but touched last moment.
So Clark, Riewoldt charges. Clark gets rid of the football. Now to Higgins. All on his lonesome. Tarrant. There's plenty of time just to amble down the field. Long ball. Skipper waits for it. Through his hands. Goldstein becomes the rover. Got rid of the football. Tackles on from Gilbert. Swallow. He only just kept it in. Webster tried to keep his body in front of it. It's just dipped over the top. Seb Ross to Savage, and Savage outside of the boot to the runner Bruce. Couldn't control it. Tarrant's got Stephen. Pins his arm. Little one off the ground.
St Kilda, drop kick. It's a drop kick that's holding the ball.
Yeah, he said he drop kicked it.
Right call, I think. Stephen.
I think drop kicks are illegal now.
To Ross in society and football. Long ball to full forward. Riewoldt there.
Front on, very hard to spoil from front on.
You push him in the chest. You push him in the chest. Have a look at it. Hold then, come.
Just too much front on contact.
Yeah, no, the umpire was spot on there. Scotty Thompson's never given a free kick away that he hasn't thought.
335th game. Riewoldt gets his first.
St Kilda have got the break. Simpson, yeah, if you're being tackled and you can actually just somehow put the ball on your boot, that's fine. But if it hits the ground first, that's not classified as a drop kick, I guess. Not that we've seen a drop kick for so long, we don't even know what one is.
You need to do a few warming up to say, I do them often. First time in the afternoon, back-to-back goals.
St Kilda needed that goal. Since North Melbourne's last goal, St Kilda have had 11 inside 50s and kicked 2 goals 7. That'd have been a bit straighter in front of goal. They could have put North Melbourne away here.
And scoring shots to 9, it's a big advantage, isn't it, in terms of scoring?
Jack Stevens has had 5 of the last 8 clearances of the game. And here he is again, hawking right over the top of this one. It went tunnel ball style out the back door, but he's going to get the clearance again as well. So someone's got to do something about him. As Savage launches the ball deep inside 50. Thompson comes at it, punched away by Bruce. In front was Steele, shoveled out a long handball. Sinclair able to straighten on the left. Got to go Akers, and he did. Good thump away in the meantime by Durden.
BT, didn't I say before how the stats were even? In that last 5 minutes, North Melbourne are now 30 touches behind St Kilda. It just shows the dominance they've had the last 5 minutes.
And Stephen up to 7 clearances and a half of footy. That's good going.
For the first quarter and about 17 minutes of this, the biggest margin was 6 points. It's changed in the last few minutes. 14-point lead. For the good of the Saints, and for the first time in the match, the side has kicked back-to-back goals. Weller around the corner, then Riewoldt. The 19-minute mark and the 24-minute mark get the Saints to their best spot of the match so far. Longer. No real win, and Cunnington really escorted over the boundary line.
Just update on North Melbourne. Just 2 players on the bench. Nelson, talking to his family in the rooms, is okay. Won't be going to hospital. The other one there that's missing is Bruce. He's been down the race days for about 5 minutes. Going to come to you for any sort of an update there in the moment. There's his partner in crime out there, Goldstein. Trying to whip it away here at the moment is Bruce. Little handball. Any news, Days?
Yeah, it was an interesting one. He came off after a pretty innocuous knock in a ruck contest with Billy Longer at the 14-minute mark and went straight down in the rooms. It didn't look too serious, but he hasn't reappeared. And interestingly, Billy Longer came off for an extended break. Todd Goldstein's been out there the whole time, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Here's Bruce, went underneath it. Good news. Daniel Nielsen, you say, is speaking to his family in the rooms.
Yes. So he's okay. Won't be going to hospital.
Thank you.
Bowled over off the ball, Zeeble and Gilbert, but incidental, according to the umpires. I didn't see it at all, one or the other.
Chance here for Cunnington. Pressure is applied from behind from Steele. Gibson and Billings fight for the same footy.
There's Bruce back, so he's back up.
Yeah, just re-emerged up the race, and it looks like he's got fresh strapping on that right shoulder. I'll keep an eye on that one.
He's a massive unit, Days, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a big boy, BT.
Cunnington. Little one to Mountford. Incorrect disposal, says umpire Brent Wallace. This is a Nick Riewoldt free.
Nick, half a metre.
Right on the boundary line. Gives the handball off, and we're away here. Snap at goal. I think it was from Billings, who's received some after shot attention as well from Turner.
Be very careful when you go back to him, okay? Very careful.
Plenty of instruction from the umpires out there. Meanwhile, Tarrant fires it back in. Stephen involved, couldn't keep it in. Is the umpire chatter, Hodgie, constant from first bounce to final siren?
Yeah, they just want to be pretty open to the players, making sure the players know exactly what's going on. They want to warn you that they're looking at you for a bit of niggle behind play, because as we just saw there, Turner and Billington have been having a little bit of go the last 5 minutes. They just want to let them know that they're actually watching them.
Umpires come up to you before the match and say, Hodgie, we're watching you.
No, mate, I'm placid these days.
Steele did well to Stephen. Quick hands to the skipper and Geary. Then over the top, Bruce, chance well, Akers almost. Billings, ball too hot for him.
The other thing with the mic up is they communicate with each other, don't they? The three umpires might
hear each other
100 metres apart, but they do actually operate as a team.
I think Ray just does it because he knows he gets on TV.
He likes that.
Well, Dean Margetts is out there too. He's got a liking to hear himself as well.
Shot! Oh!
That's him there speaking. So Riewoldt went too early with the lead then, and the double lead. I mean, Sinclair wasn't ready for either of those, and the triple. Now he goes in the space created behind Riewoldt, and Gibson got in the middle of a couple.
They're under siege now, the Kangaroos.
This is the doctor. Number one, probably talking about Pruce's likely return to the game here.
Dr. Peter McQueen.
Yep.
Don't block him, Kane.
And he's explaining to that man the exact situation. So they both have a full understanding of what's going on. Great vision there, able to capture those two. Now Noons, a minute 16 remaining to the half. Roberton with a kick inside 50. Bruce at the back off edge. Gresham tries to avoid the tackle. Went under, took him on. Probably got pinned in the end. And we'll have a ball up.
Thanks, guys.
Great front square there by Gresham. Probably could have been pinned. I don't think there have been many arguments. He's grabbed it, tried to shrug a tackle. The ball dropped out without a possession. But another forward 50 stoppage here for St Kilda. Just watching Turner and Billings here. I reckon there'll be a free kick sooner the way they're going.
Touch, play on.
Good old tap down straight to Seb Ross. Couldn't bring it back far enough. Looking forward to hearing from Seb Ross at halftime, having unequivocally the best year of his career.
He is. Outstanding year, particularly the first 3 quarters of it. He was just absolutely, I think he's still up there with the best in the comp in terms of disposals, isn't he?
Yeah, he's had huge returns for the Saints. Played all 22 last year. Hasn't missed this.
The nephew of Tim Watson, of course, our own Wispy.
The Wisp.
Yep. Higgins, Cunnington, through traffic here. Times are ticking. 38 seconds in the half as it goes out of bounds right in front of Daisy. Now, Daisy, I want you to make sure this boundary umpire slings it in the 18 metres. Talk us through it. You're right there.
Well, it looks like he's going the traditional facing backwards technique. We've seen the sideways technique come in at times this year, but it's gone the 18 metres, but a bit of an angle into the middle of the ground, BT.
Nice.
Well called, Days. Won't get the opportunity again. Free kick.
Thanks, Jack.
Why is it 18 metres? Have anyone got any idea why it's actually 18?
Because that's what the umpires decided would be the average.
But that's an average, so that's the average that is a good throw.
So it was the umpires that decided that?
Yes.
Okay.
They thought they could make that, and they've fallen a little short.
So 18 metres directly into the middle of the ground towards the circles is where they need to launch the footy. Saints with just 10 seconds to go, a chance here. Steele, brilliant. Sinclair, little sidestep, got around Gibson. Oh, it's a wonderful kick. Last kick of the term will be through Shane Savage, and he can make it a 23-point lead. Look at this ball. Sinclair outside of the boot. Perfectly delivered. So Shane Savage, long kick of the football. Can he be accurate? And he kicked 3 for the year. Study of concentration. Siren has gone. Savage splits the middle. 3 in a row to finish the term. Weller, Riewoldt and Savage. And the margin, a game high 23 at half-time. 8:14.62. North Melbourne 6-3-39. If you've just joined us, Daniel Nilsson, who went off earlier, is in the rooms and speaking to his family. He's okay. Back down to you, Days.
Well, Dylan, you've got a game on your hands here, but you've been able to get a bit of a stranglehold in the last 10 minutes there. What adjustments did you make to get the ascendancy?
Well, I think it was probably a bit 50-50 in the first quarter. They were either streaming out with it or we were, so we wanted to not make it a shootout and get our defence going. We know they like to handball a lot, so it gives us opportunity to come forward and tackle and keep it in our half, which I think we did a lot better that quarter.
And one of your fellow defenders, plenty of attention on him pre-game and then at quarter time as well, Jake Carlisle. Can you give us any insight into what's happening with his back?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he just stiffened up a bit in the warm-up, but the docs fixed him up, strapped him up, and he's been playing really well, so he should be good.
Well, thank you and good luck in the second half.
Well done, Days. Roos by 5 at quarter time. Saints by 23 at the long break on a Sunday afternoon at Etihad.
Yep, St Kilda are getting it done and the fans are enjoying it. Not so Brad Scott, because late in that second quarter, St Kilda went bang, 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 kicked 3 in a row, and before you knew it, from just a couple of points in it for most of the game, it's a 23-point half-time lead, which is reasonably significant. And Days, down to you, and I know Nick Riewoldt today hasn't had his best game, but what a player he's been.
He's been a great player, BT, and I think we'll all remember him for his absolute passion and courage. He'll play his last game next week, hopefully, if they don't make finals, and we all know that he'll leave absolutely nothing out there. He's given everything he has to St Kilda and this great game. So on behalf of all the St Kilda fans today who are here to see him in his last home game, and on behalf of everyone at Channel 7, we are saying thanks, Rui.
Yeah, we are indeed. Oh, there's the love for Rui. Look at that. Fantastic Days. Getting right behind the big boy. Interesting story that we've been following through some officials here that have told us that one of the umpires out there today, umpire Dean Margetts, who, by the way, is one of our very best and will take part in this year's finals. However, you can see his left hamstring strap there. We've been told he's done a hammy. He's bravely going to try and get through this quarter. But if he can't, and it's probably unlikely that he will, then John Howarth this is him trying to warm up after half-time, will take his position, the emergency umpire. Now, that emergency umpire is running off the ground as we speak now, has never umpired a game of football at this level in his life. So this will be interesting. There he is. He's going. Hope he comes off. Any big chance today. Nick Riewoldt's last game at Etihad.
Showtime.
Thought he was going to be just sitting there minding his own business, watching from the interchange bench, and he might get the call up. But his heart's pounding.
And this will mean it. I mean, you can say all you want, but umpire Margetts, it means that he's going to miss the finals, which would be a killer blow for him.
As you say, one of the game's best. So it'll be Chris Callens who bounces the ball to get the third term underway. Goldstein and Longo, like a couple of bulls staring each other down. Perfect bounce. Goldstein, terrific tap, worked it to Swallow. Here's a little look away, ends up with a steal, feeds it to Billings, has a couple of runners. Sinclair now to Webster, ambles down the outer side. His kick intended for Riewoldt, and Scott Thompson gets the better of the duel. Thompson now, long ball, couple of one-on-ones. Webster went with Simpkin. So Stephen, who has been prolific in the middle of the ground in terms of clearances, seen a lot of the football. Steele beaten to it, then just jumps on top of his man underneath all that Cunnington.
Thanks, Todd. How do you guys? Keep the meter.
Umpire Callens giving plenty of instructions. Long a little slap and gather. Not cleanly, I might add. Ross, brilliant to Dunstan. Backs himself for speed. Bruce, well, going to go searching for his third. In the end, it's the sure-footed Tarrant. Picks up, releases. Nunes illegally so. Back to the Kangaroos.
He did use his hips, but I think it was just a little too much. McDonald, Brown, Got through the extended arms on that occasion. Got to get back into the game here early, North Melbourne. Yep, it's a push on Ziebel.
That's here. No, you could have got that.
So now Ziebel is the task ahead of him. Just pops it magnificently on the head of Goldstein there. Off hands from Longer. Swallow searching for the dangerous Higgins. Went to ground to trap the footy. Now he's got to get rid of it. Does to Cunnington. Fast hands. Counter attack on here. Dunstan just looks and runs the other way. Here they go, the Saints. They are on. Ball out wide in the hands of Gresham. Handball over the top here to Noon. He can put it under the arm. Take a couple of bounces. I'm not sure he'll get close enough. Left foot kick. Riewoldt. Couldn't get there. Out the back, Membry. St. Kilda counter-attack, magnificent.
And after an afternoon where it was goal for so long, Saints, the last 4 of the match, last 3 of the second term, start of the third, goes the way of Membry. Swift movement on the outer side. Membry picks up the scraps, easiest of kills. 9-14 to 6 goals 3.
That just shows Nick Riewoldt how hard he's worked forward. 2 North blokes have been attracted to him. Membry also has worked hard down the fat side of the ground, gets a nice goal in the goal square. But forwards who work up and push back, as those 2 big St Kilda forwards, he got rewarded well. 14
more scoring shots for the Saints, 29-point lead. Stephen again ends up with a clearance, works it forward. Billings, wrong side of the pack, ends up with Mountford giving it off to Durden and then him just shaping it around the corner. Front spot in the end was Garner, never really had a fly at it. Geary arrives, pressure is on. Higgins just works it back to Garner. He feeds it off. Mountford gives it back to Garner. Little one from Turner. Clark tries to push it forward. Out-muscled in the end by Sinclair. Cunnington. Tackler was Steele. A bit of a wait in the end for Ross. Garner. Help arrives. McDonald crashing through. Didn't take it with him. Swallow at ground level. Good enough to Cunnington. Clark under pressure. Cool head. Garner. Ruse still not quite clear. Might be now.
Mountford. Got an escort on either side. Gee, Swallow probably zigged when he should have zagged, but they got out of trouble now. Simpkin will get a clean look here. He might handball sideways, the little sneaky kick. It was well done. Attlee now centering ball, and Goldie from 35 out directly in front. North Melbourne in desperate need.
Game certainly opened up now. The one part of the game where you think that the Cunningtons and Swallows might be okay at the clearances, but they're getting smashed by St Kilda. Stephen himself has had 9 clearances.
189th game, looking for his 101st goal here, Goldie. Doesn't come any easier than the opportunity he's presented with here. And he makes the most of that as well. Good start from the Roos. So Goldstein, after the Membry goals, gets it back to 23 points here. Todd Goldstein, that'll do his confidence a world of good. And back to a 23-point margin. The most important aspect of that.
You can just see here the composure from Simpkins, just to lower his eyes, hit a nice little chip kick, and then the square up across the Goldstein, have a shot 35 out straight in front of goal. Nice ball movement from North Melbourne.
Lean return for Goldstein last week, just the 4 touches. That last goal, his 10th. Touch of the afternoon on the scoreboard too. Back to 23. Savage hurriedly works it forward. Durden attacked the football, ran into Clark. Riewoldt picks it up. Little one to Kobe Stevens. Cunnington arrived. Big tackle. Puts his man into Dumont.
Try to fend off. Oh, there. Try to fend off. Oh, there, coach.
Looking forward to an umpire saying to a play, you tried to Dustin Martin.
Oh, there, Jack.
So Dumont, low ball. Defensive side of the circles for the Kangaroos. 4 Saints goals in a row before that Goldstein goal.
Hold, Jade.
Breaks the run. For so much of the match, it was goal for goal, and for so much of the match, it wasn't more than 6-point lead to either side. Right now, 23 was 29. Kick and a half from home. Goldstein lobs the ball inside. Bruce had the height, didn't have the football. Gilbert had it, lost it. High was Cam Zerha. No free kick, probably should have been. Cunnington, handballed, intercepted by Ross, and then the little one to Gresham. Kangaroos have got the numbers. Memory slapped it to a bit of space. Mountford picks up the loose ball. Not perfect in the end for Tarrant, and then they've just got to mop up and clean up a little bit here. Atley runs away from Membry. And then McDonald, cute kick around the corner to Tarrant. He measures his kick, finds Goldstein.
Goldstein thought about the handball to Atley and decided to go with it. Atley's kick is nicely weighted to Rovat.
I wonder if Goldstein's form today might get any potential suitors interested. He needs a club that just looks as needs a #1 ruckman, not a part-timer.
No.
Whoever that is. I'm not sure if there's a club.
I reckon it'd be a great get, Lee, for someone looking for a ruckman. Hodgie, what about the Hawks?
We've got Ben McAvoy playing.
Oh, yes, big boy.
Excellent. With Johnny Segler coming back in next year.
Okay. So Hodgie already making sure that he doesn't end up there. But now Jack Stephen there, interesting today. His partner, Indy, she's due. She's ready to drop any stage today. Now, good to see Jack here and playing. And I know Jack's the favourite son of the Geelong Footy Falcons, Footy Factory Falcons down there with Mickey Turner. But yes, Indy due today, partner of Jack.
Ready to drop BT. As a midwife, I can confirm that that is the technical term. Yes, you're right.
Days, I think she could even be here today. I'm not sure, but you are ready to assist.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help out if I get the call. I'll let St Kilda know that I'm on standby.
This whole player access thing would go to a new level. Well, Days could do it. Stevens taken to ground. Ball still to be won.
Ball up. Same again, boys.
By the way, Lee, would you be interested in Goldie up at Brisbane?
Stephen Martin's doing pretty well, and they've got a pretty good one in the reserves, I reckon, that's got a chance when he develops. So the question is, it's a one position, isn't it? That's what Goldie is.
Swallow and Zerha worked it out in the end, ends up with Atley, works it inside, and here's Bruce.
Right out, Blake.
Showboating in his black boots. Sort of Larry now, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm having a look at himself on the screen. And gee, I like what I see.
Strong, isn't he? Just 22 years of age. Rugby convert from Queensland. Bruce to narrow the margin to 16 points. Unloads, long ball, to the left it goes.
That wasn't a great set shot, but you got to like the way North Melbourne are taking the ball inside forward 50. They're not just blazing away, kicking at the top of the goal square. They're lowering their vision. They're hitting some leading forwards.
Kick back into play here. Stevens to Sinclair. Gee, North seem to have had most of the play at their end of the ground so far in this third quarter. They trimmed the margin back by a goal. Now Savage to Ross. Ross not much on. That was the only option he had. And he found Membry. Here comes Bruce. He pushes off his man. Membry not prepared to on that. So he just goes short to baby boy, Jack Stephen. Heard the umpire call play on. That's Dean Margetts with the hamstring out there. He's doing a fine job. Garner. Higgins. He probably wanted to keep the hamstring thing quiet, I reckon. Anyway, up they go. Off hands it comes. Anyone's ball at ground level here. Long is there. Goldstein all over him. Little opportunity for the Rouge. Picked up by Nate Brown. Fires it out here to Steele. Cross the ground. He goes to Gilbert. Got a big opportunity over the top to Sinclair.
Well-weighted kick in the end. Just a little bit of a fumble. Still time just to roll on. Ignores the first option. Brings it back inside. And Billings will kick from just outside 50. Doesn't look confident. Goes searching for a target. It's Jack Steele marks in front of Riewoldt. So Steele in his first season as a Saint after a couple with the Giants.
Just down here at ground level as well, Dan Nielsen back on the bench in his tracksuit and won't take any further part. But great to see that he is well enough to sit out the game here, so that can only be a positive, I'd say.
Well, terrific to see him here rather than elsewhere, as you say, Days. So in the hands of Medicos for quite a while on the ground, checked out, and all seems to be in good health. Terrific kick from Jack Steele. Saints extend the lead back out to 27. So Jack Steele, 17 games with the Giants, 10 last year, struggled to get a run with the Giants, as many do. Couldn't quite lock down a spot in the best 22.
Been able to play that pressure player up forward, hasn't he?
They've liked him, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. He's had a few downers, but generally he's been productive home.
Just the way they were setting up, they've gone away from it, Hodgie, but often North put two of their half forwards up on the side of the centre square, but they've gone 6 forward of the centre square because I don't think it works that well.
I think what they were trying to do is just see how he got Billings coming off the back of the square, and they've been using him a fair bit as a link up to get so many clearances, as we've spoken about, is St Kilda doubling him with the clearances. So North tried to change a forward line just to change up Billings' idea off the back.
Higgins, a dynamite kick to Zerha. Here he is, number 44. Top of the square, Taylor Garner. He's taken a beauty, got out the back. In the square, the umpire's rule. So this will mean it's directly in front. Taylor Garner.
Mark's here.
No problems from here at all. So it's goal for goal here in the third quarter again. So back to 21 points in favour of the Saints. Garner gets his first.
Having his best year, isn't he, BT, by quite some margin. Could never really string games together. Body letting him down. Had a horror run with hamstring issues. 2 games, then none, then 11, then 3, then 6.
Always looks like a promising third tall.
Yeah.
Not key position, but that's sort of the bit like Membry is for St Kilda down the other end. It's a good jump, isn't it, by Garner? He's a promising young player. Membry plays that third tall for St Kilda. He could play that similar function for the Kangaroos.
Debuted in 2013, still just his 34th game, 18 of them this year. So Garner's got his body right. Starting to pay dividends for the Kangaroos. Hamstring issues being his real problem. Riewoldt, strong hands. And a standing ovation to a man that's given the Saints fans a lot of joy over the years. 1 goal for the afternoon.
That was just 2 blokes who've played a lot of football together. Jack Stevens picked the ball up. All Riewoldt did was point out to the right, point out to the fat side of the ground, and he set it up just so Nick could do a run and jump of the ball. It was a perfect kick and a great mark.
He'll be kicking to the Riewoldt end as well today, guys. Fittingly, or in a nice touch, as part of his tribute game, the Gordon Coventry end's been renamed the Riewoldt end.
Listen to that. They love him. It is some sort of a retiring class in 2017. We know that the players who retired in 2007 were a very special group. Well, 2017 sees some of the game's very best disappear.
There it is, the big sign, the Riewoldt end. Just for the day, that's the Coventry end, isn't it, I'm thinking, normally?
Yep, it is. A lot of guns retiring this year. Hodgie in the box with us today, of course, and gee, don't they, Lee, like to announce it nice and early so they get a...
Yeah, good press conference.
In a lot of cases, quadruple send-off. In Hodgie's cases, just a mere 6. Here's Higgins. Around the corner, high footy. Brown the target. Juggling attempt. I think he's got it. I don't think it hit the ground. Now, let's see if Brown argues the point. He's an honest sort of operator.
I didn't see it hit the ground, not mate. I didn't want to guess.
Let's have a look. Did it hit the ground? No, he hung on to it.
Josh.
Very nice of him not to argue the point.
Oh. That hit the ground, BT. Okay. That was a Ford mentality you had then.
All right. Well, so there's just the comeback from Hodgie.
The chance for Turner. Slick little move onto the left boot. Puts it out in front of the running Simpkin, got rid of his man Ross in the end, then couldn't work the handball out. Sinclair did well, gave it off to Nunes. Nice ball down the line. More cheers. The man who captained this side for 220 games. How many games does he have left? They're at long odds to play finals, but win today, win next week, and they are a chance. Inside to Sinclair, a bounce, runs to about 30. Sinclair kicks the goal. It was tight for a long time throughout the afternoon, but out to over 5 goals now, and 4 in a row in the last couple. 33 is starting to look ugly, given the way the Saints are moving the footy.
Josh, I'm throwing this one up again, mate.
Love the ball movement here from St Kilda. Nick Riewoldt takes the mark. There's a player there, so he gives their handball over the top to... we cut off, but the squaring up change of the angles makes it hard for the North Melbourne defenders to know what angle the ball's going to come in. A nice little balk and a nice finish.
Gee, Margetts offering to throw the footy up there. Didn't want to treat the hammy to any more damage. Just get an umpire in there that can bounce it. Why put him through that? Common sense. Short ball, Dumont.
Play on.
Little low-level ball there. Difficult for Simpkin. What a pick up from Dumont. Handball now, Z-ball running in the opposite direction to where he needs to go. Centering ball back inside. Well read. They can launch. Sinclair to Ross. Ross to Geary. Geary's got a double option, a longer one in Riewoldt if he wanted to go there. It's Membry over the top to Gilbert now. He might even find Riewoldt on the end of this. He does. He's on his wrong left. Looks for some running support back inside with Stevens. He got brick wall. Almost threw it to Gilbert. I think he did. He went the sidewind and a goal. And umpire Dean Margetts wanting to spoil the day.
Looking by Kobe Stevens' reaction, he got a handball to that.
There was no contact. It's propelled with your bottom hand.
Propelled with the bottom hand was the umpire's call. So let's have a look at this again. No,
you can't propel it with that hand, that's all. Time back on.
That was a focus that the umpires told the players from last year, that you can't handle across your body with that hand. You've got to handle...
He's gone off the ground, Gresham. He might have kicked one.
It's a goal. Can we please make sure it wasn't touched before the line?
Talk about clever small forwards. Has it gone underneath?
Just confirm it wasn't touched prior to the line.
Review underway.
Mav Weller in there.
Don't go high. That's enough. Clear away. That's enough.
Does Zeebel's right hand get pushed back?
No. Give it to me.
What are you thinking, Liam?
I'm thinking umpire's call. There's nothing that's really conclusive. I wouldn't have thought on what we can see.
That's the thing. As a player, you sit back and you want it to get the right result, but you don't want it to hold up the game for too long. You got to understand, if there's a human error, you're going to cop that at some stage.
Would have thought at 30 plus, Hodgie, you wouldn't have minded a little break.
Review completed. Decision on scoreboard.
Eight of the last 10 now to the Saints. And they're starting to roll. You don't get quite the joy of the instant celebration and the plaudits from your teammates with a 3-minute delay there.
Yeah, that's right.
This is what the umpires told us. If we're going to handball to the left side of our body, we can't be doing it with our left hand. If anything, it's got to be a right-hand handball across so that you can show that you make clear contact. That was a clear instruction from the umpires at the start of the year.
Even though it's possible.
It is possible, but they wanted to clear up the throwing rule.
Gresham. Stephen to Steele. Steele, what a ball around the corner to Billings. 3 of their guns. Billings lines up with it.
Nice kick. I think because they've been really dominating the clearances, St Kilda North have had to try and get equal numbers in there, which means their defence is much more opened up. Very much a one-on-one defence now.
Set shot's not his go. 10-13 this year. He's kicked 20 goals, 32 for the year. Let's see what he does here. He misses. His snapshots are 2 goals, 9 for the year. His set shots are 10 goals, 13 for the year. And he's going to need to tidy those up. Hodgie mentioned earlier the conversion rate for St Kilda is just not good enough at the moment. It's something. It's an area, Hodgie, where they can really improve quite dramatically if they get it right.
And you lose momentum. You do all this hard work to get the ball inside the forward 50. As Lee said, they're plus 15 in the clearances, so they get the ball inside their forward 50. If you don't convert, you can lose momentum and give North Melbourne a chance to get back into the game.
Question without notice, Lee. I'll give you a sec to get it together as the play goes on here over line out of bounds. What do you think St Kilda need to go? I mean, they had 12 wins last year. They're on 10 wins. They'll be 11 after this if they go on and win. What do you think they need to take to the next level?
Oh, I reckon they'd have a 30-year-old Nick Riewoldt would be nice, because I think the type of thing that he adds to the forward line is irreplaceable. So that's going to be difficult in terms of going forward. Their midfield is good without maybe having the 1 or 2 that can really break it open enough.
Swallow just tumbles the ball forward. Brown crashes into Savage. Read well in the end by Cameron Zerha, the 19-year-old. Little handball forward in front of McDonald. Savage tackled. And then McDonald just found a way to get rid of the football, but Saints at the fall of the ball. Webster again just working his way off the back flank. Beautiful kick to Bruce. Well, he misread it completely, went underneath it. Thompson goes back. Plenty of time, plenty of options. Little handball over the top to Clark. His little kick finds Gibson. Poor kick in the end. Time still for Turner. They raffle it around.
Gilbert there in the hands of the trainers. He was pointing to the appendix. I know that's fairly specific. It's unlikely to have hurt them. Swallow may not even have them.
Now, Mark. Straight to him. Hold there.
Here he is. And he's going to go down and have them reassessed.
If he has them.
Yes. Brown. Longer did well to compete. Carlisle with the stationary party trick over the top. Sinclair trying to dash out of there. Geary just goes in and under, almost deliberately says, no, I really don't want the ball to come out of here. We'll deal with the stoppage.
Billy, Braden, keep the meter, guys. Out here, thanks.
As you can see there, St Kilda's got a very crowded defensive 50. It's good. They've got a lot of teammates in there to make it hard for the North forwards to get a clear clearance.
Billings slicked to Webster, and again that long left boot. Akers in between a couple of Kangaroos. Thompson wins the day in the air, just gives it off. Turner, a few Saints to beat. Handball, doesn't find his man because he collides with the umpire. Still the ball to be won. Thompson tries to go off the ground, ends up with Garner, floats it over the top to McDonald. Looks further afield, splits a couple of Saints with a long ball, but Carlisle, right spot, right time, and sets the Saints away again. Nunes thinks about kicking, has support. Sinclair on the end of the handball. Little under Ross. Fires it back. Sinclair beaten to it by Kobe Stevens. Ends up with a ball in front of Sinclair. Then has a man in the right spot at the right time. Again, it's Akers just onto the ground. Happy to take a bounce. Might take a second. Runs past the logo. Runs inside 50. Measures the kick. Nothing really doing. McDonald with the fist away. Thompson. Clark.
Handball. Slightly adrift, and St Kilda happy with the throw in here. They're all out on their feet at the moment. Riewoldt's fresh, he's just come on. The rest are gone, and there's an accidental collision in the middle. So umpire's under fire here today. That was Brent Wallace, and look at the roll. That's what a former player can do. Here's the look at the flick in. That's a sideways winder. It goes longer. Jamont able to avoid the tackle, and St Kilda got the numbers here. Robertson. See, why is that play on? Short ball to Nunes.
Keep coming out.
Been a good quarter here for the Saints. They've kicked
5 goals to North's 2 to split the game wide open, and currently at a 40-point margin. McDonald got to hurry to get rid of it.
Incorrect disposal, St Kilda.
There you go.
Go through, mate.
St Kilda free.
Back me your line, thanks.
Looks like it'll be Dunstan.
Gee, one thing's improved immeasurably in your time at footy, Hodges, the tackling. Just the average tackling. It's just so good, so effective.
Yeah, the amount of time that you do at training with the tackle, whether it's the one-on-one or the group tackle, pinning an arm, obviously you can't dump them now, but as you said, gets good shots on goal if you can tackle effectively.
So here's Dunstan. Gilbert's back up on the bench as well as that one sails past and misses, so good to see him, although he has taken a seat in the back row. And here's, well, it's been 40-odd years. This is Elvis, and I think he's parked himself in the front row and hoped that he might get a grand final gig. Haim, do you know anyone that can help him?
Well, if he's better than Meatloaf, he's a chance.
Yeah. Gee, what's your favourite Lee Elvis song? Is there one that sort of swings by and you go, gee, I used to rock it with that?
I can't think of one at the moment. I'll take it under advisement.
Geary went low, bouncing ball. Clark took it in the air and Weller took him to ground quickly.
In the ghetto. I'm going in the ghetto.
In the ghetto.
Andrew, not even Clark.
So that's Jamie Cox on the left of Alan Richardson there.
Keep him down.
Looks like he might be cooked today. He's taking all his thumb strapping off.
Tape's coming off, so Days will let us know how that all plays out. Ryan Clark runs into big trouble.
Jacket going on now, Haim, so it looks like he is done for the day.
Thanks, Days. So Daniel Nilsson.
And he did, as soon as he came off the ground, he opened his shorts up and pointed down as if they might have already all known that something was wrong and he's re-injured it. So, interesting.
Both sides down a man, Daniel Nilsson and Sam Gilbert. Out for the game now, Stephen. Little one to Kobe Stevens. Ricocheted back in the Garner direction. He tumbled the ball forward. Bruce and Carlisle gets beaten by the boundary line out of side. So 9 lead changes in the match. So close for so long. Game high lead now of 41 points to the Saints. There's Daniel Nilsson. In the hands of the trainers for a long time, but not needed to go to hospital. Great signs. Good outcome.
Blood rule here. Love Me Tender would have been one lead from Elvis. Love Me Tender. Jailhouse Rock, or even a bit of blue suede shoes. There he is. And interesting look as well as going to come from the ground under the blood rule.
BT, have you heard the one, A Little Less Conversation?
Yes.
That was my favourite.
You directing that in someone's direction, Hodgie?
No, my pa used to play it all the time.
Right.
That is a nasty gash.
It's flowing blood.
I'm waiting for a whack back, BT.
I've got one coming, but I'll leave it a little longer so you have less time for retribution.
I've got 1:44 to wait for it.
You're always on my mind, Luke. There's no doubt about it. Off hands. Little one out the back door to Dumont. Caught in the Sinclair tackle. Jack Stephen. Indy's due any time. Dunstan to Stephen. Stephen to Noons. Brushes past. 30 out on the run, missed.
Looking up the St Kilda defence, Carlisle seems like he's got through okay. He hasn't been involved in the game a hell of a lot, but he's still looks like whatever that sore back was hasn't really affected him.
Long kick from Tarrant. Goldstein tries to gain some metres and does.
With St Kilda winning the clearances and getting the ball played in their half of the ground, it's cut out North Melbourne's run, handball, receive game. They like to chip around till they find a pocket of space and link up with handball. They haven't been able to do it because St Kilda have been able to squeeze in behind the ball and have that 18-man zone.
70 seconds before three-quarter time. Higgins hasn't really had a huge impact. 22 touches for the afternoon. Just the one behind. So the Saints are absolutely alive in season 2017, but a lot of results need to play out in their favour next week. One of them is Essendon getting rolled by the Dockers here at Etihad Stadium. Billings Lovely kick. Bruce gets told by Nick to go back and kick the goal. Bruce, he's had a couple of weeks in the VFL this year. Might have been 3 in the end, all in a row. Rounds 8, 9 and 9, 10 and 11 of the AFL season. Couple of goals for the afternoon. Riewoldt's got a couple. Gresham's got a couple. Bruce has 3. Ripper.
I think that's something you've got to go back and wonder how they can't hit a 40-metre drop punch straight in front, but then you're 45 metres out on the boundary and you can do a left foot banana. It's a very hard skill to do, but he nailed that one nicely.
Absolute gem, wasn't it?
Probably the answer to that, isn't it? That they're hitting the sort of the belly of the ball rather than the pointy end with the drop punch. Seems to be a lot of players just seem to be able to get much better purchase and much more consistency with that kick.
And is it less pressure? The fact that 40 metres straight in front, you're supposed to kick it with that one. It's a banana. If it misses, it misses. If not, I had a shot at it.
The eye shouldn't miss this one. There's a bit of pressure that jumps on.
So 48 points now. 9 of the last 11 here. St Kilda, they really are enjoying their footy here today. Very tight early. Dumont, just a few seconds in this third quarter remaining, off hands. Melbourne did the job over Brisbane today, getting that job done late, and Melbourne have ensured themselves a final spot. St Kilda trying to keep things alive here. A very, very slim hope of making the finals for Alan Richardson and his team, looking for win number 11. They're 48 points up at three-quarter time. Way through the second quarter. Down to you, Days.
Thanks, BT. I mean, we've spoken about how St Kilda's finals chances are out of their hands now with the loss to Melbourne last week, but all they can do is keep on winning, as they look like they will today, and they've come with the right attitude. Their intensity and pressure has been up. They've out-tackled North Melbourne, interestingly. Despite their dominance, they've had 2 more tackles, and throughout the season, when their pressure's been there, they've usually won, so it's the cornerstone of their game. You were talking during that quarter about what does St Kilda need. In my opinion, I think they need a real goal-kicking midfielder. You look at the powerhouse teams of the competition, GWS, Geelong, Sydney, Adelaide, a lot of their midfielders push forward and kick goals, whereas this St Kilda midfield group just haven't hit the scoreboard as much this year. It's something they need to add next year.
Well, one thing they have done today, we mentioned in the whiteboard pre-game, they've only been getting about a goal about every 5 inside 50 entries, which is far too low. Today they're up to about 14 from 46, so about a third, 1 in 3. So that's going to win them many more games.
That live ladder didn't include Richmond's current position, where they lead Fremantle in the West. So Longer gets the first tap of the last term on a Sunday afternoon. Is it Nick Riewoldt's second last game? A lot of things have got to go right for the Saints. They're going to win this afternoon as they work it towards the former skipper, Tarrant. Just waits for the ball to settle a little, and over the top it goes Goldstein. Dumont in trouble, pinged by Dunstan. Goldstein, little one in the end to Dirt, and then to Higgins, then over the top floats it to Clark. Tries to get out of the tackle of Dunstan. Membry just tried to work it to Sinclair, clean in the end. Off to Membry and then off to the second deck.
You can see North want to get their game up and running with a few handballs, but all the handballs there seem to lead their teammate into trouble. Whether it was Goldstein's first handball or the one from Higgins, the loopy one over the top, they need to try and handball out in space to get their run game up and about.
10 debutants this year, more than any other club. Hodgie, they really are starting from scratch again, aren't they? Very young side. Clark.
6 of the 10 out there today, Bristol.
Yeah. Tarrant down the line, and
push.
Just makes you wonder whether they thought they were a bit closer to, you know, the real action than they actually were, given the fact they can drop off so quickly. But it was outlined, and I went to the press conference, or not a press conference, but a behind-the-scenes briefing earlier this year at North Melbourne. They said this was going to happen, that they were going to play these young kids, and they've honoured that through Brad Scott. High ball, here's Thompson in front.
Jed Anderson, former teammate of yours. Hodgie been an emergency a bit this year. Surprised he's not getting more airtime?
I think it's been more his injuries. He's had his shoulder, which you heard, and his hamstring as well. So once Jed's up and about with his injuries going the way he wants, he's a really good player. But it's a very hard thing as a young kid coming through, getting injury after injury, trying to get your body up and about.
See that mark then from Brown. That is how you do it, Hame. When you're leading strongly, you don't want the defender to touch the footy. There's never been a better example in our game than what we just saw there, Gibson. I hope we can get it on replay. Short ball to Cunnington and he'll line up for goal, but it was just sensational.
Yeah, full stretch. He was going flat out, hands out in front, but they stuck.
Look at this.
That was the possession centre square. Then all of a sudden they're on.
Nate Brown was right there with him, and even his lunging arm couldn't do anything to deflect the footy. Cunnington nails the goal, so North Melbourne trim one back.
Cunnington gets his second of the afternoon. There's 9 of the previous 11 goals going the way of the Saints. Margin back to a 7-goal game, 42 points. Melbourne getting the job done over the Brisbane Lions earlier this afternoon over at the MCG. Fremantle and the Tigers underway in the West. Tigers trying to work themselves into a top 4 spot.
Cunnington's tried all game. He's had 2 goals, 29 touches, 18 contested possession, but a lot of the possession has been under the pump. Just the fact that St Kilda winning the ball, getting it in their forward line, and the rush disposals trying to get it out.
First of the last going the way of the Roos, and that man doing the tackling there, Ben Cunnington.
Jack Stephen had a great game, and I think he does elevate St Kilda because he's the midfielder that's likely to burst into space and really break it open when he gets a bit of ball in clear air.
Jack, Ben, I'm coming out there, okay? I don't want to be hit. That's where I'm coming. So if you don't move, have again, Rux.
If you don't move, you're going to run into Jack Steele, Dean. Little one from Sinclair off to Nunes, into Seb Ross, tumbles the ball forward. Riewoldt's the man, charges there from a Saints perspective, and Tarrant doubles back, 360, ends up with the football, gives it off to Clark. Gibson, unkind bounce for him in the end. Savage sort of threw it in the Sinclair direction. Simpkin did well, fired it inside. Cunnington got a runner in Gibson. He in turn Garner, and now to Swallow, closing. Webster got rid of the football. Garner knew where Higgins was. Higgins, little kick round the corner, clever, great vision, good execution. Now it's up to Ben Brown.
He's got tremendous agility, Brown, for someone so tall. He's obviously tall and slim, looks like, you know, like the giraffe in a way, but he actually just keeps his balance. He always looks like he might be able to fall over, but his ability to reach low, maintain the balance is really good.
Took us through his routine at half-time. Ben Brown likes to take 8 steps and then get a bit of momentum. He's got a little bit of a tail in his ball as well, he mentioned.
Only got 1 for the afternoon, 1-2. So 55 for the season, 56 for the season. 2 in a row to the Kangaroos. So he knows his routine very well, Brian.
Yeah, he does.
Understands it, doesn't tamper with it, comfortable with it.
He looks very professionally prepared, Hamey. I just heard him talking at half-time about his routine and that little feature he had, and he seemed to be all over it. He knew everything about his own kick, which you'll be surprised not all players do.
There's Ben Brown, and there's the Coleman medal. He's an interesting player. I still think he's got to be the Kangaroos' second ruckman. I don't think he can play a ruckman or 2 ruckmen plus Ben Brown. There's too many tall players in the 122.
Goldstein reaching there. Higgins. Geary just caps it off at half-back. Looking for their 11th win of the year, the Saints. They won 12 last year. They've got a very slim chance of making finals. Just got to keep winning and see what happens next week. Moons coming backwards here, just trying to chisel something wide, and Savage. Was Savage renowned, Hodgie, as a good kick at Hawthorn when he was there?
Yeah, long penetrating kick.
Yep.
He always, I guess he never lowered his eyes that much. I think as he's played a lot more football, he's been able to lower his vision and hit that leading target, as well as that, hit that long kick as well.
Probably had a little bit more responsibility at St Kilda, hasn't he?
Yeah, he was just a young kid when he was the first Hawthorn, but when he came across to St Kilda, they gave him more responsibility as far as putting him in the back end and pretty much giving him the ball to drive their boys out of the back half.
Dunstan and Steele combine again. Nifty little kick to Noons. Noons able to go. Pulled back on the kick. Got it to Billings, to Mav Weller. He winds up and nailed from behind. And a nice tackle by Jai Simpkin.
Happy to move it on into the hands of Attlee. That famous 18 of the Kangaroos now to the skipper in Zeeble. Over the top to McDonald. Gresham on tired legs. Tries to chase. McDonald floats the ball forward. Ben Brown, full extension, knocked away in the end by Nathan Brown. Geary, hands and knees, beaten up by Rovat. McDonald, Gresham was in the right spot to take him immediately after he took the football. No opportunity. Akers, clean take. Inside, Dunstan. Little give over the top, bouncing ball towards Geary. Got a bit of protection in the end. And there's time to work it inside. Back to Akers, back to Nunes. Dropped the ball. Clark spun, lost it. Oh, Simpkin taken high, went into Akers. Umpire let it just roll on. Weller now to Stephen. Low ball, Saints are away. Gresham has Steele if he needs him.
Got a bit of support here. A triple bounce run here by Gresham. And then a kick inside was just superb.
It's hard for defenders when a player comes surging towards that back 50, Hodgie. There was just one-on-ones, but they couldn't really protect the 360 degrees. It was only a matter of attracting the attention of the kicker when Bruce just got into his vision.
Goal number 4 on offer here for the Bun. Bruce. A little bit left.
That's what we spoke about. You can do the banana from 40 out, but then it's that the set shot straight in front. If you look at the Ben Brown, as we spoke about earlier, he's nice and composed, run in. A lot of it's between the players' ears. You've got to train the way you kick, and Ben Brown, you can tell just through his routine, whether he's training or in a game, it's the same routine every time he has a shot at goal.
Geary lurks about the place, got himself into a good spot, couldn't quite complete the transaction. Ends up with Stephen after a little handball, then he inside. Billings pulls the kick to a dangerous spot. Tarrant and Riewoldt. Tarrant wins the battle. Tarrant becomes such an important pillar for the Kangaroos in the back six after so many years of battling his own body. Missed more through injury than he'd played for a long time. Shoulders and tibia and everything in between. Basically got injured just walking past the medical room. Tape left knee, but no tape on the shoulders. Got past that.
Akers. McDonald, who's really grown as a player this year. Bruce didn't really kick it to the advantage of Brown. He had to go back and make it work with Nathan Brown. Robertson there, the 2-on-1 wins out. Dylan Robertson to Ross. Jack Stephen pointing in this direction, said get it to Noons. He goes over the top to Carlisle. Carlisle's got an inside runner in Jack Steele. He'll dish off to Akers. Akers now gets a really good lick. Good smother by Gibson. Akers bowls him over though. Shifts the handball to Savage. 48, no problems. Just went bang. St Kilda make it a 43-point lead. Good build-up. And they've been impressive here today as Savage gets his second goal.
Okay, mate. Keep working. Billy, bounce again. Todd, bounce again. Thank you. Straight back, guys.
It was a nice smother there from Gibson, but to pick it up, Savage, a nice little goal. If you had a look across, Nick Riewoldt was by himself, 20 metres in front of him. Didn't think about the Riewoldt retirement game, but it was a nice finish from Savage.
Savage gets his second of the afternoon. 43-point margin. Game high is 48 after 9 lead changes in the first term and a half. Savage again with that long penetrating ball. Membry just over his head, into the hands of Billings, crashed into the turf by Turner. Pick up in the end for McDonald, lost it in the tackle. Weller had hold of the football, but as he's trying to kick, slung around. Goldstein proppy. In fact, Goldstein coming straight to the bench. Been a lone ranger for a long time for the Kangaroos in the ruck. Garner, mentioned earlier, his body finally looking after him. Played sparingly in the first few seasons. Had a good run at it this year. Back goes Kobe Stevens. Quick one to Webster.
Webster, Jimmy, onto Akers. Loves to kick it long. That's down the ground.
Downfield.
So this will be a Membry free.
St.Kilda, downfield. Pushed him in the back after he kicked it. Ball landed here. Membry.
Just running away from North, aren't they, when they get the Buddha ball now? It's always a pretty free-flowing game, even in the early stages, but as a bit of fatigue set in, St Kilda really running and linking and spreading far better than the Kangaroos.
Thank you. Mark's here.
Goldstein getting some work done with the shin pad there. As Membry lines up for his second goal. Kick of only some 20 metres. Goal umpire set there. Look at him crouched over, ready to adjudge this one. .49 points, St Kilda lead. Fans are happy. And all thoughts, if they're not already, will be starting to shift towards Nick Riewoldt in his final game at Etihad. Of course, they go to the MCG next weekend, St Kilda.
Cousins play each other.
Yeah.
As you see here, Goldstein's come off second best again. It was just a little bit of a clip into his left shin, left knee. I said, ruckman, you got a feel for him. Every centre bounce, they're running flat at each other. Whether it's a knee, whether it's a poke in the night that he got early in the game, they come a fair battering in there.
Bruce and Bruce go up against each other in the middle there. Stephen tries to construct the next one for the Saints. They've kicked 11 of the last 15. Membry sits between a couple of roos. Second grab is good.
Well, he didn't earn the one before that was downfield, but he earned that one. Good, strong overhead mark. And as he goes back to have the shot, that's 7 goals that's come from Riewoldt, Bruce and Membry, the 3 taller St Kilda forwards. That's a good day's work from the trio.
Nick Riewoldt, 2 straight. Josh Bruce, 3 goals, 2. Membry, 2 straight. Looking at his third. 49 points is a game-high lead. He sneaks it through. They kept up for a long time, North Melbourne, and halfway through that second term, Saints kicked back-to-back goals, and then after the siren in the second, Savage made it 3 in a row. Membry got the first to the third. The Kangas have only got 4 since. 12 of the last 16.
Game high 55-point lead. That's the Riewoldt end, specially designed sign for Nick Riewoldt. This is what it's going to look like next week. There it is, Friday night football. Hawthorn and the Dogs. The Hodge end.
Is that your comeback, BT, from before?
That's me little snipper. That's me little do-you-goody. As Zurha has a ping and misses. So it's going to explode here next Friday night. Hodge's last game in a Hawthorn jumper.
I can hear the excitement in your voice, BT.
No, we're going to be up and about, Hodgie. We're going to be covering this from all angles. It's all about you next Friday night. Short ball. And I have no issue with superstars like yourself getting all the adulation that you should. It's probably the ones that have just played the 100 or so.
Carlisle, well, it's a low ball. Bruce gets in the right spot in front of Bruce.
Keep the kids to a minimum, Hodgie.
How many children are you going to take out with you, Hodgie?
I might see what nephews and nieces and that will do next week as well, just to annoy BT.
Garner to Gibson. Long ball, nothing really doing from a Kangaroos perspective, and Steele just floats across at halfback. Bob Murphy too, his last outing. Two of the game's favourite sons disappearing together, Hodge and Murphy. Well, Akers and Sinclair couldn't quite work it out, and in the end, Akers just goes and wins a football. Memory kicked the last couple.
Is it true, Hodge, you're going to run a New York Marathon in the off-season?
I'll say attempt to, as I think Riewoldt takes a nice chest mark. I'd say it's an attempt, not sure if I'll get there, BT.
Riewoldt inside to Kobe Stevens. In the end, Mountford just charges at the football, left it behind. Durden, little handball wide. Turner, Tarrant. And then Riewoldt, one last time at Etihad, pings his man. He's been the living definition of hard work and professionalism, hasn't he, Nick Riewoldt?
Just wondering how his legs are going to come off the game at Etihad to see if he can get into his last game next week.
So next week, if it is indeed his last, which it looks like it will be, he'll play against cousin Jack, who's part of the Tigers outfit that have got a lot on their mind, and they're hoping for a huge September. Forward the ball goes again, this time Cameron Zurhaar, little one well weighted to Rovat in the right forward pocket. So Rovat has 1-1 next to his name for the afternoon. Former dog, 12 for the year.
15 seconds gone.
Completely outplayed since halfway through the second term, the Kangaroos. 55, the game high lead. Margin 54, across the face, nothing really doing. Brown just gets pushed out of the way, and the Saints, easy enough, win the footy. Now Ross just buys some metres. Outside 50, the ball floats, but Thompson, well managed.
Yep. Just come on the ground, replaced Robbie Tarrant. Not in front of us here. Tarrant goes searching for Zeeble, who got good elevation. Keary tackled. Handball comes out to Bruce, took him on. Simpkin now attacked by Jack Steele, and ball pinned in there. So it's been a good result for the Saints. They've kept their season alive. They're, as I've said a few times, a slim chance to play finals still if things go their way. Very slim chance. And they've done well to keep that alive as Garner has a ping and kicks the goal for North Melbourne. So third goal for the Kangas in this last quarter. Taylor Garner kicking his second of the day.
It was a nice snap there from Garner, and if you look at the midfields throughout the game, St Kilda has had a great spread. Cunnington's had a red-hot crack, 33 and kick 2. But if you look through the St Kilda midfield, Stevens, Ross, Dunstan, Nunes all had 28, 29 touches. Stevens 35, 10 clearances. They've really got on top here.
A couple of youngsters do battle. Mountford ends up winning the ball in the air, then the low ball through to Cunnington. You spoke to Alan Richardson pre-game. Where there's life, there's hope. A win today, at least it's a week of training, thinking maybe, maybe, maybe.
That's it. All you can do is your part and hope everything else comes together.
Oh, Dylan, hold.
So Brown, who's been a bit of a one-man wolf pack up forward, works it into the hands of Garner, who kicked the last. Zeeble flies, crashes the pack, picks up the ball at ground level, dishes it off. Zurhaar round the corner. Tricky bounce to deal with in the end, and taken to ground underneath all that is. And Turner or Simpkin.
We just saw Nick on the bench. I've always loved at their prime with the Franklin Riewoldt in the 400-metre race. Who'd you back, Hodgie?
At this stage, probably Bud. Put it back a few years ago, and I reckon Nick might just pick him.
Yeah.
But either way, it'd be a...
At their peak, they're fantastic athletes, weren't they, both of them?
You'd sell tickets to that, couldn't you?
To see two blokes 6'6" run as quick and as hard as what they do.
Speaking of runnings, Stephen continues to charge around Etihad, goes at the football that he kicked, beaten to it by Thompson. Rovat floats the ball over the top, finds McDonald. He threads it through to Cunnington. Happy to retreat, gives it off to Higgins. Beautiful kick of the football. It was well measured. Defensive effort's good enough though. Ross to Billings. Robertson. Stephen. Akers. And a little one wide to Membry.
So Membry and short to Stevens. It's going backwards. It'll look too early to run time off the clock yet. Sure they want to score.
I don't think they're running time off the clock, but North have dropped a couple of players forward of the ball, so it's just to maintain possession.
So Steele just hammers it towards Membry. Scotty Thompson, there he is. He's going to be playing his 200th game next week. Scotty Thompson. So that's a great achievement for him. He's a gun defender, and game 200 on offer for him next weekend, Home. That's pretty damn good, isn't it?
Yeah, remarkable. Bruce went to ground, so too Higgins collided with each other. Bruce looks sore enough, grabbing his left hip. Here's Robertson. Sensational year, rebounding off halfback on the left, measures the kick, perfect to Bruce. Bruce has got 3-2 for the afternoon. Membry's got 3 straight.
Now have a look at Riewoldt lurking out to the right-hand side by himself. Would you consider? Or is he on the bench? No, he's on the bench, sorry.
Membry, I think, over there,
oh, okay.
lurking.
It is too.
So Bruce looking for 4. Just floated across the face again, and it is seemingly a disease at the moment at St Kilda, that inaccuracy. Small forwards have got it. A couple of the bigger forwards have got it.
Yeah,
17-19.
They have missed plenty. They've had plenty of shots.
29,000 here today. By the way, Riewoldt stuck in the interchange gates here at the moment. Can't get back on the ground. There's only 3 minutes left in it. I'm sure he wants to, well, he's the star of the show. Let's face it, he needs to be on the ground. And they're saying, come on, someone come off for this guy. And he's going to play his last 2 minutes 50 at Etihad. The crowd going, yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, get him back on.
It's not something I think you would have been in for, Lee, this sort of thing, but you were a hard taskmaster. Taskmaster, that would be. Here's Higgins. Stevens. Now Dunstan. St Kilda looking to go forward. Noons. Riewoldt offers the lead. Now the handball to Stephen. Stephen around 1. Little kick back inside. Looking for Bruce. He plays on. Membry got running support in Gresham. Gresham says, get out of the way. Kicks the goal. 55-point margin to St Kilda. Their fans celebrate. And with just 2¼ minutes remaining, he's kicked 3.
Lee, that's what you're talking about. Jack Stephen, how he can break a tackle, he can burst with that little bit of speed, hit a nice target to Bruce, but that's where he's got that little bit of X factor, a little bit of pace that adds to the St Kilda midfield.
Yeah, no, he's not sure what kind of year he's had. I mean, certainly Ross has had an outstanding year by his previous stands, but Stephen today, he's had 40 disposals, but every time he gets it, he seems to be able to make something happen, break into space, 11 clearances. He's had a really good day.
I think in a game where there's been a lot of turnovers, to run at 88% efficiency for Stephen is a fantastic effort.
Just saw images of Todd Goldstein on the bench, guys. Won't play any further part. Ice to the left knee. They were worried about a spot just inside his left knee, below the kneecap. It seemed as if he was happy to come back on and keen to come back on, but the doctor's just taking the precautionary route.
Thanks, Days. A couple of minutes to go. Gresham kicks his 3rd for the 4th time in his career, the most he's kicked. Cunnington, he's seen the ball 35 times, most he's ever had. Robertson, as we said, he's flourished at halfback. The Saints, Weller, strong in the air, thinks about going back inside to Stephen, who is cruising on by him. So the Demons, winners earlier today, they've got to beat the Pies next weekend to make a sure thing of their finals berth. The Saints have got to have a few things go their way. Richmond playing in the West at the moment. It is all set up for round 23, and it kicks off with Luke Hodge and Bob Murphy playing their last games for their respective clubs. Two monumental careers.
You never know what you're going to get when you come to a game of footy. I was at the Collingwood-Geelong game yesterday, and it was just congested, tackle after tackle. Ball was, this is completely opposite.
Yeah.
Not much tackling. The ball is just flowing end to end. A much better spectacle to watch, I've got to say.
Yeah, record number of stoppages yesterday at the G. In that game, Lee, I'm with you. This game has been full-on goal scoring from the moment the game started. There's Brown, and he outdoes Carlisle. So Ben Brown has kicked 2 goals, 2 today, and he'll just send this one forward. Bound and Rovat will line up for goal. He's trying to lessen the angle. If I'm the umpire
That's
there,
a harder shot.
Just call play on. Run off the mark like that.
I think agree with you, BT. When a player takes a mark and starts walking back in the middle, anywhere else on the ground, they'll call play on.
Yeah.
They did the same in the forward 50.
Rovat showing some of his flair and skill. He's nailed that. That's a very, very nicely constructed kick. So Rovat nails the goal. North get their 4th goal of the last quarter, and they trail by 49 here. And we're down to the last 44 seconds.
BT, you watch where he takes the mark here. He knows exactly where the spot is.
Yep.
It's just anywhere else on the ground.
It's play on.
That's play on. And players are smart enough to try and take the angle around so they get a better shot. That should be called play on, and then you deal with it from there.
I agree totally. There he is.
Remarkable performer for a long, long time. Wrong side of 30, 34 years of age, game 3-3-5. He's done just about everything in football except stand undefeated in the last game of the season.
Back here, boys. Stay the meter, please, Bill. Thank you.
So close against the Cats in 09, a draw against the Pies, and then beaten soundly in the rematch. But it has been a monumental career. Outstanding individual. Went at #1 in the draft and has done everything hoped for by St Kilda fans. One more outing, perhaps a miracle, and there might be a final for Nick Riewoldt. But it is at long odds. Zerha. One last foray inside 50 for the Kangaroos. Chance for Garner. Bouncing ball. Will give to Brown. Wasn't quite on. Zeeble tries to break the tackle. Time against all comers. And it will be the Saints. Nick Riewoldt, you'll say farewell to Etihad Stadium. Saints victorious. One more game for Nick against his cousin next weekend. Hope you enjoyed the footy. Kicks off again on Friday night. Saints today by 49 points.